My entire life, I have questioned everything. Today, that's what I'm here to do. Have open, honest, sometimes difficult conversations. Welcome to my chronic curiosity. And here we go. So I'll be like, all right. So we got Mr. Antoni Adamrovich as usual, and Mr. Corey Parsons with us. And I'm glad we were able to work this out, that you guys could both be here at the same time after all of the issues, as it were.
It's a rare occurrence.
I know. And you actually both showed up on time, too.
On time.
On time. Yeah. Actually, it might have been a little early.
Which is an anomalous occurrence.
Yeah. I feel like there's going to be a black hole.
It's like
any second.
Bigfoot came out to watch Halley's Comet.
Yeah. But so I'm assuming you're Halley's Comet, and he's obviously Bigfoot with all the hair.
And
The hair
absolutely.
Yeah.
And I sparkle.
Who? Not going to touch that one.
So
only after strip clubs.
Yeah, right. So real quick, I wanted to, because I wanted to kind of hear this story myself for a while. I mean, obviously, I've known you both for quite a long time, but I don't really even know all the details. So, Rogue Tree Solutions, I know basically all the details that I know is it started by Tony years and years ago, but it's essentially kind of the business aspect and the day-to-day and all that stuff now is, kind of your deal. But we'll get into it. I want to get into a little bit more, but the imprint that you guys are having on the community around us seems pretty fast and hard, as it were. So, yes. So evolutionary, like, how did that whole thing happen? Like, just, you can be quick or whatever, but just, I know I've heard bits and pieces of it, but I think a lot of people don't really know the backstory to it. You
mean all the way from the beginning,
yeah.
or just kind of like what you ask as to how, like, the community said, oh,
no, yeah, I want to know how it all happened and how it came to be what it is.
It started out as I was in medicine and I did trees, but I just wanted to supplement the medicine. And
so how does a guy that's in, sorry, to interrupt you so quickly, but how's a guy that's in medicine get into trees as well?
I dropped out of college for a semester when I was in Charleston, South Carolina at the College of Charleston. Hurricane Katrina hit, and I said, I need to go. I need to go down there and help those people. So me and a good buddy, Dan Leach, jumped in a 1987 Honda Accord and didn't know if we'd make it down.
It's probably still running today.
Probably. Probably. 87 Accord. How dare you? And we took the scenic route down. Everyone's like, dude, what are you guys doing? My parents were like, you dropped out of college? I'm like, yep. That was a fun conversation with my dad, who we talked about my dad. But no, we went down there, and it was a very awesome and unique opportunity to volunteer. Things just worked themselves out. We didn't have a real plan. I mean, we're college kids. You don't have any skill sets. You don't have any common sense. You're doing what you're doing to help people. And so we ended up at this church. The church was kind of a focal point for different teams from around the United States to come to and volunteer their services. So you had guys that would do roofing. You had demo guys. You had tree crews. And different people would call in and they'd say, hey, this is what I need. The church would formulate work orders. The church would delegate said work orders based on your skill sets. And every day you would just go out and you'd do something different. So we hopped on with these different teams all the time. And somehow, I don't know if it chose us or we chose it. We ended up on the tree crew. And
it wasn't even you went down there to do trees.
No,
or anything like
not
that.
at all, man. Not at all. And I think any tree guy will kind of understand that. Like, it just picked me. It picked me. Or you had 3 kids and 3 felonies, and that's what you do.
And Fred, you can understand like your background, like you just look at that and go, you look at hurricane work as potentially other than ice storms, probably some of the dangerous situations you could be put in. And 3 guys that have no experience, nothing, just getting handed saws and going out and trying to do it, like the liability aspect.
Oh, dude, thinking back.
But I feel like just like look, obviously I didn't know Tony back then, but I feel like if he looked anything like he does now, wearing like a 2
I
or
did
size
not.
shirt, he'd be like, "Oh yeah, that guy. That guy does.
It was more.
That guy knows how to handle wood."
Yeah, it was more Abercrombie model than tree tard.
Ooh. Yeah, well, maybe they were just trying to thin the pool then. Like,
It's possible.
Yeah.
It's a possibility, but no, I loosely learned how to cut trees down there or not die around trees, I guess.
That's a good way. I think,
Yeah.
to do it, yeah.
And ended up coming back to going back to college, finishing out that degree. Every summer I'd come back and work, and someone called me up and they said, "Hey, I heard you know how to cut down trees." And I'm like, They said, "You want a job?" I said, "All right." They said, "Be there tomorrow at 7 a.m." And so did that. That kind of got me involved in the trees, but still getting the degrees for the medicine. Worked for that guy for a long time. Super nice individual, treated me like one of his sons, gave me an awesome opportunity. I tried to take what he did, the good things he did, and kind of apply them to my business as I started it, and then learn from the things that needed improvement, which I turned out pretty much with my business was a good majority of everything needed improvement. And it basically at one point, I'll spare you the details of some of the people that worked for me, and the situations that we went through, but it was kind of like a lot of tree services, if you will. And I'm not trying to just generalize or not trying to employ a fallacy there, but you get a lot of mom and pops tree companies or any skilled trade for that matter, and they might know how to do that trade very well, which I wouldn't even say we knew how to do it very well, but they might know how to do it well. They don't know how to run a business though. And so at one point I was like, man, I don't even know if I want to still do this. I was in Nebraska doing a little songwriting with a buddy, and we hadn't talked for a while. We've always been very good friends, raced some motorcycles, raced some hell, drank some bourbon, good stuff, good times. And Corey was working for a very large tree company, and he was mowing lawns at the time, and so he had a good group of guys underneath him. He was a general foreman of sorts, and basically said, "Hey, why don't we help you out with some of those jobs?" And I said, "Oh, okay." And I didn't know how serious it was, but I came back, and I think the first job they ever helped me on, it was a big job. Dude, I wasn't even there for it.
There's actually a repetition in that throughout the couple of years. These huge jobs that come up.
He
and
just doesn't have.
Oh, yeah. Oh, Tony's at Tortuga? Oh, send us some pictures.
And I did. But, they knocked it out of the park, man. I mean, him and his family were born, bred, and raised to basically do trees. You get those types of individuals that they found their niche or their niche in life, and man, that's their family. They're awesome at it. But another thing that it turned out that he was very good at was running and growing a business. Excuse me. Just hiring some stellar employees / I'd call them family, and then just building a badass culture. And man, I'll jump in. Like it's prime time for you right there.
Yeah, it's the biggest thing, man, that I've seen over the last 5 years of businesses that succeed, businesses that fail is, dude, it starts with your employees. And the moment that anyone, whether it's your CEO, manager, the moment that they don't realize that your employees are literally your bolts to the entire operation, the moment that you realize like that fails, like, dude, you're losing. And obviously you got to hold them accountable. And I think I don't even know if we have to hold them accountable anymore. Like I
think they hold each other accountable.
Yeah, the workforce hold each other accountable. But I think that's literally some of the most fundamental building blocks of any business is understanding. And Fred, we go back a long ways when it comes to working together. And dude, my pops obviously was your boss at throughout periods of time. And
at a period of time, yeah.
Dude, we always joked about there's a I think in all good bosses, and this is a very conflicting, you get in any corporation that they, a lot of guys will say this is a wrong approach, but from what I've seen, there's an appropriate level of fear and respect in a good boss. And so you have one of those two things, or you might have both. And dude, Pop's always had that with pretty much anyone that's ever worked for him. And I think, man, that speaks volumes when it comes to building a workforce. Like, obviously, you have to have respect. And I think that you have to have just a small amount of fear that your guys go, if we screw this up, like what we're going to have to deal with.
Right. So kind of going to that and maybe backing up a little bit, like I said, obviously I'm super familiar with you two and the business and whatnot, but even as I'm not familiar with it as people think I am. At least I don't feel like I am. But I'll drive around town. I travel a lot for work, and it seems like no matter where I'm at, I could be, an hour northeast of my house or an hour and a half southwest of my house, and I'm seeing rogue signs in people's yards.
Right.
And I'm like, these motherfuckers are getting it. Like, and then like you see reviews from people, and honestly, there's been a couple of reviews. I'd like to know how much you paid them because I'm like, there's like, I knew these guys, like, so I guess to me, like, that's like, I guess one, how do you do that? And two, like you're mentioning, like the guys, like not everybody, I've had employees before, and I've had, dealt with a lot of people where you can't make everybody a great employee. So it's like, I guess to me, it's like, how are you able to keep that up, and how are you able to do that and find, those people that.
Right. Yeah. For me, man, the biggest thing was, like Tony touched on, is building a culture versus a business. And it's the feels of it, man. It's like, dude, one, the guys need to know that they're appreciated, and they want to feel like they're a part of something. Like, dude, they're not just a number. And we're big enough that you obviously see us all over the place, but we're also small enough that if there's a problem in-house, they make one phone call and I'm there. Like, you don't get that in big corporations. Obviously, you're dealing with a kind of a stair-stepping of and a hierarchy of all these different people. So you never really get good or solid answers out of any situation you're in. You just get fed a kind of a line of shit, and that's what you're dealt with. I don't know, Tone, do you, other than like the branding, the culture, and kind of, I think a big thing where, you talk about the signs, and this is something that's just happened in the last like year and a half, something that I never would have anticipated, but it's almost like keeping up with the Joneses now. So like, we literally have customers that'll call us and they'll be like, where's our yard sign at? If the guys forgot to put one out, or we were out of them at that point in time.
They're like stealing them, like they're doing like Trump and Biden.
Yeah, they'll be like, "Where's our yard sign at?" And like so many customers, they'll be like, "No, we'll literally come and pick one up from you. We want the sign." And I literally think, I swear, it happens all the time. And I think it's like we've built this reputation, and dude, for the moms, like, dude, you talk to any husband, they dislike us, and they're like, we've built this look, man. We've built like an image that. It's, I don't know, man. It's a sexy look. Like, I don't care how you look at it. And
they only dislike us till they meet us.
Then
they have bourbon with us, and they realize like you don't have to hide your wife. And you're good.
Well, is that because I heard a story? I feel like there was a story before.
Well,
where
where's this going?
No, I was gonna say we won't go there.
Well, now you better tell it, just because it sounds terrible where you left it.
No, that's true. Well, I did hear a story that maybe the husbands didn't have to worry about, because there was a certain customer at one point thought you guys were partners.
Oh yeah,
that's a great story.
Yeah.
Not that there's anything wrong with that by any means, but it was. I felt like there was.
You gonna take that one?
Yeah, go ahead and take that one, because you were on the butt end of it.
Not touching that joke. No, we were doing, it was just some residential work, and I think it was about a 5-man crew, super nice lady, and it wasn't even just what Corey said. So Corey went in, kind of introduced himself, did a full assessment on the property, and I think she had seen we have a website, and it kind of explains, hey, it's Corey, it's myself, business partners, yada, 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 and So Corey was just kind of telling her a little bit about the organization, a little bit about his background, a little bit about me, and he referred to me as a partner, his partner. He didn't. He failed to, to use the
The adjective.
Yeah,
The business adjective.
partner. So and he kept saying this, and she was heard it loud and clear, and she's like, hey, it's 2018 or whatever it was then, and so our crew comes there, and the first thing that someone does is ask her for a hair tie. Yep. We call him man bun Jake.
Says the guy with the man bun.
Well, that's not. It's not really a man bun now. It's in the back. It's a bitch biscuit, but it's not called a man bun.
I'm not sure.
I'll give you that.
I don't know the difference.
I'll give you that. It's past man bun status. It'll be in the eyes now. But that was the first thing that someone did was ask for a hair tie.
Gotcha.
So she was like,
And you look at this guy, and he could easily go either way.
Oh yeah. Well, verdict's out. Yeah. So no, but there was one more thing. I can't remember what it was, but she just kind of put all that together, and the fact that Corey called me his partner kept saying it, and she was just like, wow, I've never heard of an all-gay tree crew.
Right.
So she started assuming.
An all-gay tree
made the
crew.
mistake of
And
assuming.
then we talked and we laughed, and she bought us lunch, and she's like, I was just like, I don't understand. Your business partner kept talking about my partner. I'm like, yeah, we get it. You're gay. That's fantastic. Like, it's 2018.
Yeah,
Lots
we
of
don't
people
care.
are gay. Yeah. You have marriage rights. You have, I get it. Like, you don't have to sell me on it. And then she's like, then your guy asked for a hair tie, and she's like, and then you guys showed up and you were pretty good looking guys, and there was one dude you called the Big Bear, and I was like, oh yeah. She's like,
that's what it was.
Seal the deal.
Yeah, 100% gay.
I'm starting to think it now too.
100% gay.
Well, yeah, Colin came walking up through the yard, and someone's like, hey, Big Bear. And he's 6'4", 280.
Check.
Check.
Yeah, we got 4 strikes in a row. You guys have already been.
But
That's funny.
yeah, but kind of backtracking a little bit, Fred, is dude, something that I never lost track of, and obviously we're still a new company. Like we're still in the growing pains. But dude, in a county like Wayne County, we work in Stark, Medina, pretty much every surrounding county. Even at Ashland, go up into Lake. There's no county that I've ever worked in that's like Wayne. And what I mean by that is, dude, if we go into an area, if we're on a busy street, and I can get 1 yard sign out, within 2 weeks, that entire street is covered in them. And Wayne County is the only county that happens in. You can go to
What do you
Medina.
think? Is that like community? Like there's some kind of sense of community with the people around? I mean,
I think everybody in Wayne County, they know who's 3 houses down. They know who's 2 houses down. You go to Medina, they don't know who their neighbor is. They could live there 5 years. Yeah, I actually don't know their name. Because sometimes we got a permission to use their property or driveway. Right. Oh, yeah, I have no idea who that is. Wayne County is a different feel, man. It's a very tight knit community. So like our growth obviously is heavily related to that, but it goes into the little things, man, that I look back on that I know that I've personally done, and I look at the trickle effect of actually what that's turned into. Dude, perfect example. I was coming through north into Worcester one day. I seen all these kids out at a car wash, right? They're out there. It's got their soap buckets, and I've got the big dually, and I'm like, all right, man. So I pulled in, and yeah, I was like, I pulled in, and dude, they spent 35, 40 minutes washing the truck, and they're out there laughing, and I was cracking up with them, man, and I had to hand him a wad of cash. I don't remember how much it was at this point.
It was $100 bill is what his mom said.
I can't remember what it was. I know
$100 bill because they all like gathered around like they discovered some
yeah
new animal of sort. Oh my God, $100!
But his mom ended up being a head marketing person for Rayco. So
you telling me you didn't know that before you went there?
I didn't know. Yeah, absolutely not. I didn't know that.
She told us the story.
Yeah,
we were like, "Oh my gosh, that's awesome."
Yeah, and then
it's just luck. Then I figured it was genius.
No, then you look at like the stair step of that. Of dude, now Moorbark is one of the our industry's largest equipment manufacturer. Right. We're doing their sponsor work. We're running their prototypes. Awesome. Like, dude, and not saying that was what caused it, but that's what made her go, oh yeah, like I know the road guys, like I've seen them. It made her get on the website, and it was simple like that. There was that, and I think I threw something up on a Facebook post and hashtagged and tagged Reiko in it.
Gotcha.
Which she obviously is the first person that sees that. And she was like, wow, like this is cool. You know,
Right.
there's like that cool factor. And, you know, now for 2 years, we've been doing like their sponsorship work. You go to morebark.com or Reiko.com, like you're looking at road guys on their chippers. Like that's unheard of
That's awesome.
for a company that's ultimately only been running since 2017.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. You know, like I said, I guess going back to that statement of, I think people think I know a lot more than I do because we've worked together in the past and you know in the industry and whatnot, and you know people ask me like, man, those road guys are getting it, huh? I'm like, it seems like it,
Right.
yeah. Like they're every single time. It's like, you know, I live fairly close to the shop and. You know, driving by there, sometimes I'll see, oh, there's more cars out there. Like they got more guys working. They got more equipment. Like it's hustling every day. I mean, it seems like it's just been an exponential growth since.
But dude, it's come with some serious sacrifices, man. Like huge sacrifices. Like, dude, I look back at the last 3 years, man, and also I look at how much I've aged in the last 3 years. And dude, it is a 7-day-a-week grind.
How long do you think you can do that?
I
mean, it seems to be working out well for you at this point.
It is, man. And the biggest thing is like any adventure in life, you learn as you go, right? We had some humongous hiccups that's caused us some astronomical levels of stress, literally due to stuff that we didn't have control of. We were paying somebody else to manage, to take care of. Dude, they dropped the ball. We're still feeling tidal waves from that. Other than that, it's enjoyable. It is fun. And dude, you know, Tony's kind of out of it at this point, but like, dude, he still does. Like last week he called me and was like, I mean, dude, what did you ask me?
I don't even, what
Dude, when you were like, bro, are you still happy? Like, are you?
Oh no, we had breakfast, man. And I saw you and like, I'm obviously a little bit removed from it. So sometimes when you're on the outside, it's easier to like think about things because all you're thinking about is that. And, and I don't want to say you looked dejected, but it's just a question that I think I was like so deep I didn't get to really ever think about. And you know, the end goal of this is to, you know, obviously do something that we love, be able to provide for our families, and be able to provide something awesome for our employees and the community.
Right.
And so I asked him that question. I was like, do you still enjoy what you're doing, man? Like, are you still loving it? Are you still? I know there's. You know, you can love something, but there's going to be headaches, there's going to be hiccups, there's going to be setbacks, and I asked him that question. So
yeah, and Fred, going to that question, I mean, dude, I think everything's got a shelf life, but dude, we're still new, man. We've got the guys in place that need to be in place to really keep the business successful and moving forward. So for me, man, I just get so antsy to keep pushing in different directions. So, you know, like Rogue Tree started, and then, dude, last year I was like, we've got to get the landscape thing going. Like, I don't think anyone in their right mind would go, yeah, let's just add a whole nother company.
And it sounds like right in the peak of everything else going.
Yeah, exactly. So,
well, I don't think anyone in their right, I would say, you know, I don't think anyone in their right mind is ever ludicrously successful.
You're right.
I mean, because maybe not the right, but you know what I mean? Because you look at successful people across the board, then that's, I guess to me, that's kind of where the question was at was, you look at these people that are insanely successful, and that's what they do.
Right.
That's their lives. Their life is that success. Their life is that work. And then, you know, particularly with some things I've seen, like some of these, you know, whether it be, you know, investors in stock market or, you know, in the business aspect or people that run companies or, you know, politicians, like you got people out there like 70, 80 years old, just full throttle.
They can't turn it off.
Yeah. It's like, goddamn, like you're about to die.
Mm.
Like if I get to 75,
right.
Yeah, man, that was a good run.
Well, it's an
like,
addiction though. It really is. Like building business is an addiction.
I guess I could see. I mean, I guess everyone has their things, I guess.
Right.
But I guess, you know, I guess to me, just kind of piling onto that, you know, you always hear the thing of people when they get older, they never say, I wish I would have worked more. There's not too many people that say that.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess, is that like how in your mind, like, how do you, like, is there like do you have a goal, or do you have something that you at least are trying to put on that addiction, as you said it, to kind of go, hey, like, maybe if we get to here, because it seems like that's a lot of work.
Yeah.
Is there something that, like, when you get to a checkpoint, you can go, okay, I need to reassess, or is it just, no, we're going full fucking throttle and we're the wheels fall off?
That's the only way I know how to do it in anything. You know what I mean? I don't do anything like.
I can respect that, because a lot of people don't have that.
No.
You know what I mean? A lot of people don't have a work ethic at all.
Right.
Let alone to.
Like, mediocrity to me is disgusting. Like, I don't like it. Like, dude, if you're going to do something, do it the hardest, the best way that you possibly can.
Or don't do it at all.
Or don't do it at all. Right.
Yeah, I mean, I can appreciate that. That's.
But, then, landscape company, it started rolling.
Right.
And,
Sorry.
Yeah, no.
So
yeah, so it started rolling, and dude, a company that's not even 2 years old yet, and we're literally managing one of our county's largest businesses in the county. We've been doing landscaping now for not even 2 years.
That's phenomenal.
And you look at the type of organizations that we're doing property management for.
Guys are doing something right.
Yeah. So that reputation, it was an easy, kind of an easy step from one to the other. And then the investment company that we kind of got rolling in January of last year.
I didn't know about this.
Two wasn't enough.
Yeah. So we have.
Tell me about that. I have no idea about this.
That entity basically just holds our commercial real estate.
So we've got the 6 commercial buildings and the property.
I got you.
Right.
So it's kind of a way to kind of divide some of that off to.
Well, if you obviously understand the hazards and liability of the tree industry. So, we would never put.
Gotcha.
Same with separating. You just try to spread out your entities as best you can, and
diversification,
mitigate the risk.
Yeah. Then you even look at landscaping. A huge reason to separate landscaping, literally 101, is workers' comp. Workers' comp rates on tree is 25-26%. Landscape is anywhere from 11 to 13.
Makes sense. And they're out there doing different jobs.
Completely different.
Yeah, it totally makes sense.
So your prices and overheads are completely different between the entities. That's where you see a lot of landscape companies that are actually doing tree work, but they're right.
If they're called a landscape company, and they're doing tree work. They got a ladder out there.
Yeah. Well, even you'll see landscape companies with full forestry equipment, but
that sounds like a slippery slope.
It's a slippery slope, especially if you have an incident. And they go, and then most landscaping insurance companies don't cover tree work.
Rightfully so. It sounds like that. I mean, that shit's dangerous.
It is, man. It's crazy. So it's a good industry, though, man. I mean, arboriculture in general. I think the labor statistics show that there 86,000 tree companies in the U.S. as of like May of 2019. Jesus. That's crazy.
That's insane. So the safety aspect of it, like, in obviously the tree industry, you don't get normal people that do that kind of job, particularly nowadays.
Right.
So maybe even what's your approach on that, and how do you go about doing that? Because it seems like these days that a lot of people don't even want to come to. I mean, up until August, they were making more money staying at home anyways.
But just choosing those individuals, or are you going back to the safety part of it? Or once you get those individuals, how do you keep them safe?
To get somebody into that industry, and then, because typically that person, it's like you look at, just throwing something like a fighter pilot. I mean, I feel like you have to be a cowboy to be a fucking fighter pilot. So how do you get a fighter pilot to be safe?
Right.
Because not everyone's going to, go up 100 feet and start swinging chainsaws around,
Here's a big one, because if you aren't, you die.
Right.
Right, but what I mean? I get that. And people
But how do you make them understand that it's that hazardous?
Yeah, how do you marry those two things? Like, for
me, man, I don't know. I could spend hours talking about that, honestly. Safety is a culture, period. But this is about the only industry out there that the level of unpredictability, like, dude, there is no, you could do everything right. You could manage every single thing that you have control of, and you could still have something go wrong. As of today, knock on wood, we've never had an OSHA recordable. We've had a clean, OSHA 300 log since day one.
And that's how long now?
Since 2015.
15, yeah.
So
awesome.
It's pretty good.
Where's some wood?
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, I thought you were knocking on your pants.
Hey,
But no, it's and the industry's changing, and that's where this whole dynamic, man, is really tricky, because if I started in the industry, like, I still consider myself green into the arboriculture industry, and I started in 2006. You look at how much has changed from '06 even till now,
Right.
dude. It's night and day
well,
difference.
hell, man, you look at how much change. Obviously the industry's, I'm sure, has changed quite a bit. But you look at in the last 9 months, how much has changed just in people's,
Right.
in their auras,
Right.
and in their brains, like,
Yeah,
shit's getting weird.
So
So like,
culture and attraction is one thing, right? You gotta bring the right guys to the table. But national average, right, for the tree industry is $35,000 a year. It's low.
Yeah, it's pretty low.
That's a low,
especially for a job that I'm gonna get turned into hamburger.
right? So you look at top 3. It's been the top 3 most hazardous jobs in the country in the last 30 years.
And you ain't making king crab money.
Yeah. Yep. And
right? Is that the top one?
Right, yeah.
King crab fishing or whatever.
But you're making on average a median of $35,000 a year across the Ohio, though, man. Ohio is one of the it's not obviously your top 5%, but it's top 15% of states in the U.S. as of money. Your capability of making decent money. So we go right off of that. Your average worker's making, was that $19-20 an hour, and you look at the wages that our guys are making. So on average, we're anywhere between 30 to 35% higher pay rates for our guys.
that helps.
That helps. That's huge, right?
Yeah. People like making money.
Dude, that and kind of a huge thing that's really raised us to the top of the chain in this area is our level of education that we put within our organization. And what I mean by that, people that don't understand the industry is, there is no, we don't really have a skilled trade in arboriculture in Ohio, right? There's not you don't go to a trade school and you get a journeyman card. That it doesn't exist. So the only
It's starting to, right?
It's starting to. It's gaining traction, but we'll see how long that takes. So, to be an ISA certified arborist, that's kind of like the only thing out there that says, hey, this guy is more than just a, Fred, I'll actually have a cube if you got a, my silver bullets are getting a little steamy.
1 cube for you.
Thank you.
So 1.
Yeah, I'll take one, please. Thank you.
Yeah, you got to keep that whiskey chilled. Oh, jeez.
Oh.
Hey-o. It's our ice break.
I don't know where we're at.
Get refreshments. You were talking about the industry and the skilled trade and how it's starting to come but it hasn't come, and it's still dealing with that.
The ISA is pretty much the only other than a TCIA, but the ISA, to be a certified arborist, that's pretty much the only thing out there that gives a customer that's paying for a service a sense that this guy has went through somewhat of a training program and understands more than this is just a tree and this is a chainsaw, right? So you understand.
So they
that.
don't have to watch their property turn into one of those YouTube videos.
Right, absolutely.
What not to do.
Yeah,
so-
at
so-
least a little kind of security of, hey, I should know what I'm doing.
I should know what I'm doing, right?
Paying you this piece of paper, I got you.
So we push that, man. We've got, I think, 6 certified arborists within our organization as of right now. That's pretty solid.
That's awesome.
Like that's those are good numbers. We'd have 7, but Tony's hell bent and he refuses to get one.
Yeah, why? I mean,
Oh, yeah.
why does someone with a medical degree need to poo-poo? He did poop that little piece of.
Well, it actually used to make me so happy when me and Tony was first just starting off with me and him. I'd be up in the tree and
I'd be chipping
Fred,
brush, slaving away.
you've rigged underneath me before. You know I don't cut stuff small. And
Yeah, I'm well aware. I have been there. I have been on that hurricane jobs. I've been out there before.
I used to just sit when I'd have sweat just pouring down, and dude, I'd sit up in that bucket and I would just laugh. I'd put the saw between my dude. I would just sit there and laugh, and I'd look down and I'd see Tony just dragging brush, and I'm like, you know what, like. He has medical degrees and he's dragging brush. Like, this makes me so happy.
You got to find your wins where you can get them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah. That would make me drag brush harder. I'd see, dude, you'd send the biggest pieces, and I'd be like, no.
No way.
No. I'd ride those ropes, and dude, you just laugh even harder.
Not breaking me.
No, and it's funny, man. Sometimes the guys, going back to just things that drive or motivate them, and they'll be like, oh, this is so tough, and I'm like, this is not so tough. Like, we did the most massive trees with 2 guys.
Yep.
With 2 guys, but that is like one great thing we have is it's basically a system of meritocracy. If you're good and you're willing to grow and learn and get your arborist, or take it to the next level and learn how to SRT climb, or get your Class A CDL, you will be rewarded, and that's another way that we keep the guys.
And there's a lot of organizations, some of the largest organizations in our industry, period, that don't recognize that, and they don't pay for it. Like, to be an arborist, you have to obviously pass your test, but then it's required. I think it's 30 CEUs. It's every 3 years, I think.
Continuing education units.
Yeah, so that obviously costs money. You gotta go to where the classes are. You gotta get a hotel. And do we pay for all that, man? And there's so many other companies in our area that their guys will come and shadow us, and they want to come work for us. And
So you guys do like a shadow thing too?
or
like-
dude, we've literally had guys, like, this happened recently, like they took like a week's vacation and they just come work for us for a week, and they see the difference of
You got a little recruitment program going
Yeah,
on too.
yeah. Made a lot of enemies.
Yeah. I can see it. But I mean, I think, everything you guys are saying, I mean, it makes a lot more sense.
Right.
Now. You know what I mean? I people, across industries would do stuff like that and actually care
How to
about their
find and retain, and
Yeah, I think the biggest thing to me I'm hearing is you care about your employees.
Right. Yeah. So obviously, I don't care how much training material you put out there, how much money you invest in training. If you don't retain them, you're just wasting money and time. You're training a guy to go do something else for somebody else.
Yeah. It's one thing to get it, but
Yeah, exactly.
why is it worth getting if you can't keep it?
So that, man, and just doing what you say you're going to do, period.
Just keep your word.
That's a good one. I like that one.
Keep your word.
I feel like you guys are just like life story or life rules, just throwing them out there.
But they're simple. They're basic, right?
Yeah.
They're basic building blocks of life. Like, just do what you say you're going to do. And dude, if you can't do that, be the first person to say, guys, I can't do this, and here's why. And the normal guy will understand that.
Mm-hmm. I think normal person in general.
Right.
It's honesty, man. I
Right.
think this is just something I've seen myself, just in general with people. Like, I deal with a lot of difficult people in my career, and I've actually gotten to the point where I'm just like, look, man, I'm just going to be honest with you. I'm just going to be brash. I'm just going to be straight up with you. And they go,
Oh, wow.
and they're like, yeah, please. Yeah,
Right.
please do. And then when you are like, it's like a light switch, man. They're like, okay, yeah, I get it. Yeah, am I pissed? Yeah, I get it, but I'm not pissed at you. Like, you're cool. Like,
Right.
I understand what you're saying. And I feel like, man, people are starting, or at least I hope, they're starting to appreciate that more.
They are. But going back to sentence one, man, is, dude, we've got some guys in our organization that are, dude, they're pillars of it, man. Like, dude, Colin Stenson, literally a pillar of our organization. Like, dude, Colin's one.
That was Big
Bear.
Big Bear.
Yeah. Dude, he's one of my
I feel
foremen.
like he's good as a pillar, then.
Dude,
Right?
he's been with us, dude, almost pretty much since day one. Like, dude, there's nothing out there that if you tell him to do something, he doesn't want to do it. He's going to give you that look and be like, "You're fucking me." But dude, he just puts his stuff on and does it. Like, dude, him, Austin, and then dude, Dustin. Dude, Dustin's our sales manager. Dude, he is literally dude, he works 60 hours a week every week, and dude, he's our main residential sales rep, and it's absolutely incredible, man. He was 9th Wing Special Operations, so dude, he's got that background. He's got a bachelor's environmental science. He's a 2-tier certified arborist. So like, and dude, I look at the company that he came from, like, dude, they essentially just let him walk away. Whereas me, I look at him and go, I can't lose you. What do I need to do
What do I need to do to convince you?
Right. And I think, dude, there's a mindset that's different there, man. And big corporations, I don't even know if they have the time or the ability to care. But for us, man, like, dude, I look at those guys and, dude, they know how much I appreciate it. And they know, like, I don't know, 2 months ago, man, I literally just told the guys, I was like, be at the shop at 5 o'clock today. And they're like, what's going on? I'm like, Austin, get the guys home at like 3:30, let them get showered, be back to the shop at 5. Dude, they pull in. I had a party bus sitting there. And keep in mind, this was on a Tuesday. And right, so Tuesday night,
on a Tuesday.
And dude, literally took the guys up to Topgolf, and dude just had 2 hours of fun, man. And dude, it's the little things like that it's my token. Hey, dude, I appreciate what you guys have been doing all summer long. Here's just something little that I can give back to you. You don't get that in big corporations.
Anywhere.
You really don't. You don't.
Yeah, and going back to, you said something about, if big corporations, they're not able to do that. And I think there is something to that, because there's so many, once you get to so many people, you can't do all the good things for all the people, because, I mean,
you'll go broke.
Not all the people are good.
Right.
I mean, let's just be honest.
Yeah,
not everybody you hire is going to be great.
Yeah.
Taking care of your good ones, I think, is kind of what I'm hearing you say. Like,
it is, man. The bosses that say, going to everyone's equal, dude, that is the biggest load of shit. Because, dude, that is not the case. Yeah, period.
They may have been created equal.
Right.
That doesn't mean doesn't mean you have made yourself equal.
That's exactly right, man. And dude, and I was talking to a guy the other day, man, and I said I'd rather have. Let me see if I can say this right without making you confused. I'd rather have a guy that puts 100% in, but only might be 60% of everybody else, versus a guy who comes in and does 70 to 80%, and he's still 20% higher than that kid.
Oh, I'm totally down.
Dude, drives me nuts, man.
To see somebody giving everything they got, or at least most of it, most of the time.
Right.
I mean, even at a work setting, because you know what? I get it. It's work. It sucks sometimes. There's going to be days where you're like,
right.
But if someone can give most of themselves most of the time, that's a decent human being.
Right.
But if you have the potential, and I've seen that too with employees I've had in the past, where like, and I think I relate to you in that sense, where it's like time and time again, you go, come on, like, I know you got it in
right.
you. Like, you got it. I know you got it. You just got it. It's there. Just come on. I want you to have it. I want you to use it. And then they just don't. But what can you do?
Yeah. And there's not a whole lot you can do to make them take that step. Like, that is it's a fire, man. It's a storm. And dude, like, I don't have it now so much for quote unquote the actual work aspect of it. But dude,
it sounds like building a business is just because you're not doing the physical work doesn't mean you're working. Right. You're around the clock
nonstop. So like, and that's where for me, man, like, dude, I have this like storm inside me that is constantly fueling, and like, all I can think about is growth of new business. Like, dude, where's this going to take me? And I'll literally sometimes just call Tony and be like, dude, what's your thoughts on this? And I know he's on the other side going, where the hell did this come from?
Dude, not really, because I usually call you up with something equally as odd or weird.
Yeah, that's true.
Mine's not business related, but whatever.
Right.
Who's judging?
Right.
Just joking.
How do you get people to fucking get that fire, Tone? I mean, a guy with I don't know how many degrees you have or anything like that, but you've done a lot more work than I feel like I've done in my entire lifetime. So
Yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, I think part of my fire, man, was just passed on. I mean, I think it's my grandfather and dad. My dad at one point, just seeing those guys work so hard and thinking about who built the nation, man. These guys were breaking their backs. And it's like, I'm not saying people aren't breaking their backs today, but you had some hard men. Like there's studies that showed testosterone levels were literally higher from those guys back in the 50s and the 60s. And
Is there a medical reason for that? Is it just like because they don't use their gonads anymore? What is it?
Snowflakeism, I think, is what it is. No, I don't know. I honestly don't know. Maybe that shift from the agrarian society to a sedentary society, or the ones where we don't have to hunt, like the agrarian. You're farming, you're not doing as much.
All right.
So I don't know. I honestly don't know.
Oh, well, they say the more you work out, the higher your average testosterone levels are, right? If you're exercising, and I guess if you're sitting in front of a fucking computer screen for 10 hours a day.
I personally think that entire thing stems from our society and education system, which is a whole completely different conversation.
Yeah, it's a whole complete. But I mean, you're right. I think that's a big piece. I think that's a piece of it. I think to that point, I think there's a lot of things that people are talking about. Well, people are trying to slap one label on something,
right?
And you got 300. We'll just take this country alone with 330 million people, and you think you can slap one label on one problem? Like,
right.
Come on. Particularly in America, where you got people from literally the entire world. We talked about it the other day. How I think it was. We talked about it. How one of the greatest ways I've ever heard it said was America is the great experiment for the world.
Yeah,
and it's like you look at our timeline. Like, we're only a couple hundred years old compared to the Earth and civilizations that go back thousands of years. Like,
right. And then you look at it.
We're still pissing in our diapers.
Then you look at our country. Our country. What 200 and
is it 44 years old? Is that what?
Yeah,
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
like,
dude,
we're still wearing fucking diapers.
Yeah.
We're trying to fucking figure it out. Like,
we're
we don't know what the fuck's going
kissing
on.
in the closet in the basement still.
Yeah, I don't know for that point yet.
No, OTPF.
Yeah, we're too afraid of each other at this point. I don't even know what that means. Maybe you should.
Nope.
Okay, yeah, we could just
look it up. I figured it out real quick.
Oh
man.
Well, dude, something that I would like to dive into, man, is kind of stemming off this is, I talk to business owners. Dustin handles all the residential sales. I handle state, municipal, corporate. And so I'm talking to business owners every single week.
Right.
And they're like, how do you guys find the employees? We can't find them. And they immediately want to go to, there's no workers these days. There's no kids that's willing to work. And, dude, I call bullshit on that. Dude, there's a ton of young men out there that are, dude, they're ready to work. The problem is, man, is like, dude, they've never been said, no one's ever told them, like, dude, it's time to put your pants on and go to work. Like, dude, I think everyone's stuck on their ways of trying to find that golden, like, our industry, find that 10-year climber with, X, Y, and Z credentials. Like, yeah, that doesn't exist anymore. So let's just find a guy who seems to be an honest guy, has enough pride to put a decent pair of jeans on when he comes in for an interview.
to show up.
Yeah, just to show up. And, dude, let's build off of that.
I mean, there's even some, and I've even seen there's a lot of women getting involved in the industry. They're
right. Well, that stems from like the UK.
Yeah, and they're out fucking working a lot of the dudes now.
Wow.
It's like there's a weird because you can't climb in skinny jeans. Is that what it is? Because the dudes can't climb.
Well, they stretch now. The soy
That's
boys
true.
are good to go.
No, I've gotten some of those jeans. You got
they're fantastic.
You gotta get the stretch fabric because it's just too tight on all your
Yeah, tightens it up.
like yoga pants.
Keeps it tight. But I think that's a topic, man, that corporations really need to take a look at, man, because I was trying to think of the number the other day, and dude, probably over the last 5 years, dude, between the organization I was with before and then now they're like the Rogue Brands, dude, I've probably hired, I would say 200 people over those last 5-6 years. Just in the Rogue Brands over the last 3 years, I've probably close to 40 in total.
It's a lot for a smaller company.
It is. So we've had a handful of guys, man. We've actually had probably more than I ever would have thought left to go to the military. We've had a handful, or guys that went back into.
If there's someone quitting,
right. I'm completely fine with that.
That's a great reason to quit.
We actually dude, one of the best tree guys that I've ever had the privilege to work around. He actually sent me a text today. Just got accepted into air assault school, so he's training out of with the 101st Airborne Division.
Nice.
So, yeah, man, like one of the best tree guys I've ever worked around.
Obviously, that person's kind of a. See, I think people like that. It's not just that they were good at tree work. Like, there's obviously something about that person.
Yep, absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, and for us, man, like, dude, we've said this from day one. Is, dude, if you come to me and say, I've got an opportunity to go do this, and I think this is going to be beneficial for me and my family, dude, go for it, man. I'm not gonna be pissed, and who cares?
We never hold ill feelings. Even to people that didn't do that we should hold ill feelings to. We don't. I mean, I've heard you say it a ton of times. I've heard your pop say it. Don't burn bridges.
Right.
And why? You know
why?
What's the benefit of that? You know what I mean?
Doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, now someone's burning the bridge from the other side. That's a whole different story.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Sometimes shit needs to get fucked up.
But
you know, there's no like, what is it going to gain you? Right?
Yeah.
So I mean, to me, it sounds like a lot of it's just treating people well.
It is.
I mean, that's
crazy concept,
isn't it?
It is. Yeah,
you know,
dude. That and like being abrasive enough to where that. Like, dude, that has to be there. Like, dude, everyone's like, you know, that's gone in society today, like that abrasive personality. Like, but dude, it works, man. And like, I think guys almost like, especially guys that, dude, grew up without a father figure. Dude, I feel they're attracted to that. Like, dude, I've hired guys, man, that, dude, didn't get privileged to have a good father throughout their life. And dude, you chew their ass for the first time. And you can tell they've got that fuck you look right on their face. Like, dude, they're just pissed. Like, they're trying to understand what's happening.
Right.
But then, dude, I think they go, wow, this guy actually cares enough about me to chew my ass, because if I don't do X, Y, and Z right, I've got the ability to get hurt, which is going to jeopardize my job, jeopardize, you know, someone working beside me. And dude, it starts building like them blocks of respect.
I can see that. I mean, I think too, like, going back to what you said before, being consistent.
Right.
You know, I mean, you could look at that as, it's a perfect analogy, as being that father or, you know, as a parent, like, you have to give your kid consistency
And accountability.
Sometimes you got to chew their ass, but when they're not doing fucked up things, you know, you can love them. Mm-hmm. I mean, not that you don't love them when they're doing fucked up things, you know what I mean? But you show them that,
right.
and they realize after, like, look, I'm going to chew your ass, but it's because I fucking love you and you're doing something stupid.
Right.
And then that consistency, I mean, that totally makes sense. I mean, I and maybe that's, people are part of that abrasiveness you talked about too. It just kind of struck with me. Like, you know, a lot of people talk about their personalities. Well, I have a very deep personality. I'm an onion, and, you know, I'm an onion too. And, you know, people, I think the phrase, you know, just scratching the surface of somebody. You have to scratch the surface of somebody to get to know them, to appreciate them, and all those things. Well, what do you have to do to scratch the surface? Right. You got to be abrasive.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Dude.
And obviously I think there's a line there somewhere, but I think to your point, I mean, if everyone's tiptoeing around each other, how are you gonna get to know each other?
Yeah, Tony and I talk about this all the time, man. And dude, I obviously, people that know me, I am very transparent. Like, dude, I you know exactly what you're gonna get from the moment we start talking. Like, dude, I don't have the ability to filter anything. Like, I say it how it is.
I feel like you're like trying. I can see the brakes getting hit. Yeah, once in a while, like, oh.
Yeah, but like, dude, I also have the ability to listen, man. And I try to talk, like, any problem that an employee's given me, man, I try to remove myself. You're gonna get an ass chewing. Don't, like, 100%. Like,
well, if you're fucking up, you're fucking up.
Yeah, ass chewing's coming. But dude, I also try to sit and, like, take the time to think, dude, what else has happened why this person's doing this? Like, there has to be something else, because this isn't who this guy is, right? Like, there has to be something else going on that's making him do this or not do this. I don't know, man. I think being a people person is, and I don't even know if I would consider myself a good people person, but dude, I'm transparent and I have the ability to listen to somebody. And dude, like I've told our, we have safety meetings once a month where we sit down with the entire team. And dude, I let my director of operations kind of coordinate the meeting, and I sit back and I literally just listen to complaints, bitches, whatever that the guys have to give to him. And then, dude, I'll let the meeting kind of go, let the guys leave, and me and him will sit and talk. And he's great because, man, he's a firecracker. He gets so fired up over things. And, dude, I'll have to, like, kind of bring him back down to earth and, dude, let's rationalize the situation. But, dude, I don't know, man. I think I'm very fortunate, dude, with Pops. Like, dude, he was probably the biggest son of a bitch I have ever worked for ever. Like, dude, violent, angry. Like, dude, I've seen him throw pretty much every tool that's in our industry, period. And, like, dude, you just knew if you did something wrong, like, dude, you were catching it was bad. It was a very bad situation that was going to unfold. But, dude, at the same time, I also seen how he would build workforces that would literally walk through fire for him. And, dude, since day one, man, when I started working under him, I obviously didn't predict that I was going to, run small businesses, but I absorbed that and I understood it. And at the time, I just laughed. I'd laugh about it all the time, and I'd poke the bear, man, and just watch the fire explode. But looking back now, man, I understand like the kind of what his purpose was and what his goals were.
Well, it sounds like, and we've kind of had those discussions too, Tony, that kind of along the same lines with your dad being that kind of hard-nosed figure. It just makes me think it's missing in so many people's lives.
Yeah.
Like, not just in the job fields either.
Yeah. That's
just in general. I think there's
just that guy. I mean, you could even apply that to kind of what we do with the guys in that terms of, like you said, that element of fear or abrasiveness as it's coupled with inspiration.
Right.
Because I know that my dad, like, instilled the fear of God in me. Like, I knew he would whoop my ass. And
right.
I know you knew the same thing. I mean, your dad might still be able to whoop your ass. I don't know.
I ain't going to like it.
But there was also that level of inspiration that they brought in, just overall respect. Like, that's a man that you respect. That's a man that works his ass off. That's a man that, he respects your mom. My dad respected my mom. He wasn't out running around. He came home. He had dinner with us. Like, he genuinely loved his kids. I know your dad genuinely, loves you guys. And so I think there's probably a lot to be said about kind of.
I can't disagree, because I know we've had some conversations too, and the same with as I got older, that whole father figure thing kind of changed that aspect. But there was something that was still instilled in me at a very young child. We had the conversation a couple episodes ago where my earliest memory was my dad whooping my ass because I disrespected my mom.
Right.
Like that's what I remember. And, and for one thing that he did give me was respect, hard work, discipline, and in those times there was something, that was given to you that it's.
Yeah. But then when you get older, man, the respect takes over the levels of fear. Right. So like,
because you understand it.
Yeah.
Right?
You understand. Yeah. And like, even today, man, like, dude, I still do a ton of dumb shit, right? Like, dude,
count me in on that,
dude. I still do, man. But there's times
I'll do dumb shit tomorrow.
Yeah, right. Who knows where this is gonna go?
Yeah,
and dude, there's times, man, that dude, I literally to this day, I'll be 32 next week. Before I do something, man, like, dude, the thought of my kids come first, right? Like, I immediately go, dude, what are they gonna think of me? And then, dude, number two is my pops. Like, dude, what would my pops think of me right now if there's a lot of things, dude, that he'd be cheering me on for, but there's also a lot of things, dude, that he would be, dude, he'd put his head down and, dude, be looking for something to hit me with. And like, dude, that doesn't exist, man. It literally, it's very few and far between. And I don't know why that is, to be honest with you. With Bane, my oldest son, he's 6, talking to his friends and, dude, meeting their dads, like, dude, the way I raise like that abrasive male father figure, dude, it just doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that needs qualified too, because I know people are going to hear like, and I know that we don't care, but
Right.
but they're like, oh, abrasive. But dude, I don't know that, like, for me, man, obviously you had kids before me, and you keep saying this abrasiveness, but with that abrasiveness, that comes from love, and there's an element of love that, like, dude, I honestly, man, kind of looked up to you as being a dad, and I'm like, oh, this is how I should be with my kids because it works with your kids. And I mean, dude, you're a hell of a dad. Like, so
Appreciate
I
that.
don't want people to like think that
Absolutely.
abrasiveness is like he beats his kids. He doesn't do that. I mean, he sits down and he has hard talks with them, and he says, hey, this is why you shouldn't be this way. This is why you need to respect women. This is why when I say to do it, I give you the reason and you don't talk back. That's not going to fly in society. What if one of our employees said that to us?
Right.
I mean, depending on what it was, you might not have a job. Like, that's not the way life functions. So, these small lessons, he's preparing them for life. But I just wanted to qualify that abrasiveness with it comes from love, and he loves.
Well, the
them.
whole thing comes from love.
Absolutely. And
Right.
and to your point too, we had a conversation I think it was that same episode. We were talking about beating your kids, and
Yeah.
and it was that was very very much in jest.
True.
It was joking, but to Corey, to your point, like that, to scratch the surface,
Right.
you need to be abrasive. And I think there's so many words and so many things that people say now where it's like, oh no, you can't say that, you can't do that, you can't do this. Well, instead of, I'll even use the words of old Martin Luther King, instead of, judging people by their appearance, their outward appearance, or, their verbiage on the things they say, judge them by the content of the things that they do or say, or their inward appearance. Like, it's, a lot of times people have different vernaculars and different verbiage for things where,
Right.
yeah, me being abrasive with my kids is not, from what I understand, it's not, I'm not screaming at them, I'm not yelling
right.
at them all the time. I'm not beating them.
Right.
It's, hey, you're doing something you shouldn't be doing.
Right.
Stop it. We need to fix this. And here's why. You know what I mean? Like, and going back to what you said, like, I think we had the discussion of spanking your children, and I made the joke of, well, if you don't spank your children, you don't love them, which is obviously, that was a joke.
Yeah.
And I'm sure, I know you got it, but I got some flack for it. And, if you don't get the joke, I totally understand why. It was a joke. It's not what I meant. You know what I mean? But there is an aspect of when your child gets out of control, or when society gets out of control, you have to do something so severe to say, hey,
Right.
if you're not understanding the words that I'm saying, like, there needs to be something to make that, relation. I think that's kind of what I take from what you're saying
Right.
is like, there needs to be a little bit of abrasiveness when that abrasiveness is required.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, you can't make beautiful furniture or create, beautiful masterworks of, whether it be metal or, furniture. They sand the wood down.
Right.
They're abrasive to it to kind of, smooth it out. And I think that's
all I'm saying.
right.
I'm going to put you on the spot here, Fred, and then Tony. Dude, I always have a lot of fucked up things that's going on in my head, especially at nighttime, man. I sit and dude, I don't sleep much, and I'll just sit and think about things. Dude, if you checked out today, right? If you checked out of this world today, and you had to leave basically one sentence behind for your daughter.
Oh, Jesus.
Dude, what would that be?
Put me on the spot.
I know, because, dude, I think about that stuff like this all the time, man.
Just one sentence? Can it be like a
Yeah, it could be a
like
paragraph.
a rambling
It
sentence?
could be a rambling.
A
Yeah,
rambling sentence.
it could be one of my sentences.
There's extra commas.
Yeah, a couple extra commas.
Yeah. I think it would have to be, don't take life too seriously, but take it seriously enough for it not to be wasted.
That's pretty solid.
It was super solid.
That's pretty good.
So glad I get to follow that.
I mean, that's you know what I mean? Like, because people, there's so many times people take life way too fucking seriously. Whether it be someone says something the wrong, or someone posted the wrong thing and it ruined their like, get the fuck, like,
Right.
dude, we're here for 100 years at best.
At best.
Like,
Right. And 40 of those are miserable, right?
yeah, the first 20 and the last 20, they're shit.
Right.
Maybe even more.
Yeah.
Like, you look
Yup.
at that compared to, like, fuck, you look, so I heard, so before Tony, I'll give you some extra time to think.
Oh, it's all right.
So
I'm not going to have anything good to say no matter how long you're going to think.
So I heard something really interesting, and it's kind of brought me back to some of the things I've looked into. It was a interview with Neil deGrasse Tyson, and they were talking about the stars and this, that, whatever, and the person said that, you know, when they first really had their first, like, holy shit moment was one of their teachers or somebody, they're looking at the stars and they said, you know, that star that you see right there, the light that you're seeing from it was from the time of the Roman Empire because it's so far away. Like, the Roman Empire, as far as the universe is concerned, you know, if we're not living on a flat Earth dome,
Right.
we might get into that later.
Oh,
but
no, we won't.
Not even entertaining that.
simulations,
burning those
whatever.
brain cells.
Yeah, but like, as far as the Roman Empire goes, compared to the universe, that was pretty short time ago.
Right.
Shit's changed a lot since then. So, like, you know what? You can't take this shit too seriously, but at the same time, like, make it worth something.
Right.
I don't know. For me, that's about as good as it gets. I mean, I'm sure it could be worded a lot better because I'm not that smart.
No,
But
I got what you were saying.
that's my.
Tone?
Someone behind me?
Nope, just you.
Cardinal?
Yeah, you got two little ones, right? So I mean,
I do. Oh,
got
man.
the third one going yet?
No, that's not going to happen.
No, okay. I know you're talking.
Not in
about
this state. Wait, what?
Wait, what? Whoa.
I'm just joking.
Hey.
No, I just keeping it super simple, man. I'm not going to be able to piece together anything that sounded that eloquent. I think just looking inward and just finding who you are and be that person at the most genuine level. Like, be as real as possible. Be as real as possible. And then when you find yourself and you're as real as possible, and you know you don't really care what the world thinks or what, because I mean you found that peace, you found who you are, and I don't know that I don't know that people ever really find who they are, but you find who you are and then figure out a way to help others find who they are and help them basically perpetuate that and just love others. I know you probably didn't expect that answer from me.
No, that's fucking.
But
that's good.
I mean, you think about all the things that are going on the planet right now, and you know, if you start at the top and you go, why'd they do that, and then you trickle it down and you trace it down, and how many times do we, you know, you see these problems and people blame it on other people? What happened if they just looked inward? Like, is the problem really inside? Is it that person? If we examined ourselves, how many less problems would we have, and how much clearer would it be on the outside to be able to help those people that can't see themselves on the inside? And then the aspect of love. I mean, dude, hardly anything going on right now that we see on the news is love. It's about the farthest thing from it. Yep. And I don't mean like, hey pal, hey Antifa, like let me give you a hug here. Like that's not what I'm saying. But just going back to the things that used to not be like human decency or they used to be human decency and now they're not. The things that were so like, oh my gosh, like someone that would do that, like just getting back to that was the reason, you know, when I was a kid, every Friday I went and I had dinner with my grandparents. My grandparents said, why would you want to have dinner with us? We're old, we're boring. And I'm like, there's just certain things I know that I'll never be able to get from anyone else. And, you know, they just poured it into me. These levels of respect, these levels of being, you know, saying, hey, figure out who you are. Like, we're going to try and help you figure out who you are. And I'm not saying I know who I am, but I feel like I have a pretty damn good idea of what I want to do in life, where I want to go. And
at least today.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Yeah, you know? But if you know that, sorry.
No, I mean,
yeah.
even in a more, you know, even in a broader sense, I feel like I do. And then, being able to figure out how to try and love people. And that doesn't mean you're perfect. That doesn't mean you're not going to have road rage. That doesn't mean, you know, you're not going to
road rage.
Yeah,
Tell him you narrow it down to road rage.
No, I'm just saying
like,
that. I'm
that's the
saying
one
that
thing.
Did something happen?
Yeah. Do you want to talk about it?
No, actually, no.
We can
Today
talk about
was
it.
an on-road rage day. But no, I just mean, you know, basically just going back to figuring out who you are and just being that person. I mean, how many people do you know? How many people do you know that have figured out exactly who they are and they don't deviate from that?
Yeah, but I don't think that ever happens in life. I don't think you ever figure out who you are.
No, I think you get closer.
I think you get closer.
Dude, you don't think like Martin Luther King figured out who he was? You don't think Gandhi
No.
figured out who he was?
No, absolutely not.
Everyone has problems.
I
You know what I mean?
Guys, I 100% didn't say you're not going to have problems, but you don't think those men found their purpose in life for what they were supposed to do? I'm not saying that it didn't get cut short. I'm not saying they didn't achieve, but I don't think you get to that level of I don't even want to call it success, that level of whatever you want to call it, and not figure out who you are.
I guess, well, it depends on your definition of figuring out who you are.
Right.
Because to me, if you really...
Figuring out who you are isn't just a static thing. It can evolve.
No, absolutely. But when you really made it, we were saying essentially like when you've made it, right?
I don't know that
internally.
If
you figured out who you are,
Okay.
that means you figured it out, right?
Yeah, for me,
I think the part of figuring it out is the fact that it's not a static thing, and you're always evolving, is what I was saying. But you can accept yourself for where you're at and where you're headed.
Well, that's different. That's accepting, not figuring out who you are.
But
It's
you still
accepting who you
figured
are.
out how to accept that and how to grow internally, and then figure out where you're going.
Okay, I mean, I get what you're saying there. What were you saying?
I was going to say, I mean, I think there's also too a difference of, I think it boils down to our definition of finding out who you are, right? Like to me, everyone's like, oh, you planned, like how much planning went into where you're at in your life right now? Like, dude, there was no planning. Like I shoot from the hip every single day, and dude, I found a niche that I'm somewhat good at.
I would argue with that though.
Was that?
I mean, you stay up all night and don't sleep. What do you think about?
Yeah, but that-
did you go into this expecting it to burn to the ground?
Oh no.
Never.
So you
No.
planned to succeed.
Well, yeah. No, I understand
I
that.
feel like you're arguing my point to you.
I understand
exactly.
that.
Yeah, exactly. But no, that's why I understood your point at the end there. But you know what I
Right.
mean? Like you didn't plan to go, well, I'm just going to go into this and
I'm going to do it. Yeah,
we'll see
full
what
tilt,
happens.
100%.
You plan to go
Alright,
into
right.
it and right.
What about being true to yourself? Is that a little bit?
Yes.
That's
Okay.
much better.
Okay.
Being-
I wasn't clear then because I
Yeah.
get what you're
I
saying.
like that. I like
you
that
could do
better.
something that's completely like. I mean, you could murder someone and be like, "Found myself,
Right.
found
right.
myself."
Okay.
I'm good.
Buddy.
I'm really good at this.
Dexter.
Puts the lotion on its skin.
Yeah. Okay, true to yourself. How's that?
Yeah,
guys?
I like that much
Okay,
better.
sorry
No,
for the
I
lack
do
of
like
clarity
that.
there.
Yeah. So you were saying something. It sounded really good until he fucked
He
it up.
fucked it up.
I had to say that, man. I'm sorry. I figured maybe you wouldn't need to say after that when you heard true to yourself.
No, to me, man, there's I don't know, man. I just like people that are passionate, and I don't care what the topic is, dude. I don't care if you're passionate about being a Democrat. I don't care if you're passionate about being a Republican. Just be like, dude. Show me that you have a fire or a storm within inside you on any topic.
Show me you're not a robot. That's
So-
what you're
right.
saying.
like a passionate murderer.
Anything.
Bring it.
Anything.
Yeah, I'm not saying I'm gonna. I feel like you're not saying you're gonna like them, but at least you can respect them.
I can respect them for being passionate. Yeah.
I get that.
Just show me some passion.
Is that because you feel like in society today, like it's just a lost
Just
art?
trolls.
It's dead.
It is, man.
People are just, they're always going back to Roosevelt's quote about the man in the arena. People are just criticizing. They're not doers of deeds. And so when they're doers of deeds and they're taking those chances, they're building those 3 businesses. They're putting together a podcast that then you're like, I respect those people. Like they have a passion. They're willing to.
No one respects me at this point. This podcast, I can tell you that right now. But continue.
They're willing to take a chance, man. They're willing to risk it.
And for me, man, like, I don't know. I see this happen all the time. I just want people to stand up for what they believe in. Now, dude, I don't want people to take that the wrong way and go, you can stand up for what you believe in and not be disrespectful to an opposing opinion, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And, dude, I don't care what you believe in. Just stand up and dude,
Believe in it.
Believe in it and speak your mind. And, dude, I literally think that trait right there is why we're in a very tough spot in today's society, man. I think there's so many people out there that want to speak their mind that they don't have they don't feel like they have the platform to. Are you out of ice?
No, there it is. Sorry. No, I totally agree. So they don't have the platform to.
That and dude,
But that's the thing they do.
So
They have a platform, but
they're scared to death to speak their opinion because they feel they might be reprimanded.
that's scary. I actually
someone might force them to lift their fist up.
I had that conversation the other day with somebody, and they, basically said like, "Well, what happens with your day job or whatever?" If something, I'm like, "Well, you know what? Like, I don't think I'm having any conversations that are
Right.
super offensive or anything like that." And obviously, and I'm not bringing that into here,
Right.
and I don't want it. I didn't want it to be completely separate. Like, that's not. They need to do what they need to do. Like,
Right.
and I'm just having fun.
Yeah.
And I want to talk to people and connect with people and in a sense be able to connect other people.
So you're giving them the
people.
platform.
Given the platform, right?
Yeah, I just want to give people just to talk. And I even said it, and I particularly if people have listened to all these, or maybe it's 5 years from now and you're coming back to these, little time travel going on there.
Fuck.
I got some mirror things that Neil deGrasse Tyson talked about too. That was really trippy. No, I'm not doing that. Okay, but
Bro, you keep your time travel and your aliens on that side.
It's really interesting conversation. But regardless, I guess it all goes back to the beginning. It was like, look, like allow people to say stupid shit.
Right.
If you want to call them out for it, great. But then allow them to break it down and explain their intent.
Right.
And go, yeah, no, you're right. That was pretty stupid. But this is what I really meant.
Right.
Like, and people don't give people that chance these days of having the conversation and connecting and listening to other people and talking to other people and just having, everything's on this 30-second clip.
Well, the problem is people don't have the ability to separate facts, opinions from emotions. They don't have that ability. Dude, everything is emotion driven.
Yeah.
And then once that sparks, it goes into mob mentality.
It's dangerous.
It's super dangerous.
What's the quote there? I feel like I can't remember who said it first, but there's a quote where it said, the individual human is rational and this, that, whatever, but the group is. I think it was a Men in Black quote. I'm not joking. I gotta look it up. I'm totally. I think it was a Men in Black quote.
Old Tommy Lee Jones over here.
Getting it.
Yeah, look at that. It even showed up.
Fred, look directly into this.
What? No, God.
Turn the light on.
Isn't that how it went? Something like that?
Yeah, it was actually sounded perfect.
You've been practicing that?
Yeah, right? Yeah, a person is smart. People are dumb, panicky, dangerous animals, and you know it. So it's like going back to it's.
Wait, was that it? That didn't seem anywhere. That didn't seem close to your quote.
No, it was the idea.
This
and
is monologue.
Somebody else I think that was a paraphrase of an actual quote before, but it was basically like the person. If you break it down to the individual, they're rational.
Yeah.
They can comprehend things and they can have that dialogue. But when you have people, in a group, you can't. And Brett Weinstein talks about that a lot too, where you can have conversations with one-on-one with somebody that you can never have,
right.
or one-on-two. He said, and I think he goes like maybe 1-on-5.
That was the kids at the Evergreen
University. Yeah. And he talks about once you get past that couple of people, you can no longer have that conversation and really with people. It's when you're talking to a group, it all just gets lost in this weird telephone game in a sense where people just go way off the rails. That was the point I was trying to make.
Yeah, and that's scary. I mean, dude, look at Salem witch trials.
Exactly.
I mean, that's
if you drowned. Well, no, if you don't drown, you're a witch. If you do drown, well, you're a human.
You're human.
Sucks to suck.
Catch you on the other side.
Yeah. Whoops.
Right.
What the fuck is that? But that's what happened, and it does legitimate things that happen.
And that's happening today. It's happening in our streets.
Yeah, dude. It's. And this is, we don't have to get into this because this is real deep. But I mean, there's a shade of Nazi Germany happening in China right now with the Uyghur people. I don't see that. I see fucking Nancy Pelosi's getting her hair done. I see fucking Trump is whatever doing crazy shit he's doing.
On Twitter fear.
Yeah, on Twitter fear. I like that. But like, meanwhile, millions of people are getting, not, what's the word for it? Not euthanized. They're not
Genocide?
Well, it's not genocide.
It's not there yet.
No, it's not quite. Well,
I mean, who knows what's actually
yeah.
going
Well,
on there,
there's been estimates that like anywhere from 6 to 11 million
in the detainment camps or
Uyghur Chinese people are missing.
Oh, I got
They
you.
don't know if they're alive. They don't know if they're dead. But there has been documented counts of them, basically forced birth control and like doing all these things where they're just the population growth has dropped by like 80% in the last 3 years. Like,
Which is crazy.
for millions and millions of people, like all of a sudden they just stop fucking.
Right.
Let's get real.
No way.
No way.
No way.
I don't know. With what's going on now, you really think that'd be a bad thing if it happened here?
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm not saying.
Food for thought?
Well,
boys.
did you see CNN put a thing out the other day where they said it was a quote from somebody that said that you should wear masks while having sex and avoid from kissing new people.
Yeah.
How's that any different from what Corey's been doing for years?
Well, he's not wearing masks.
Like an asshole.
But I was like,
I definitely don't wear no mask.
yeah, but it blew my mind. I'm like, really?
He doesn't.
Like the masks are gonna while you're having like get the fuck out. I don't know what to do. I don't know what's real anymore.
Horse mask?
Horse.
Caca. We don't need to go there.
Yeah, we won't.
Pineapple.
Is that your safe word?
It's not my safe word.
Pineapple
Somebody's
juice.
Safe word.
Pineapple juice.
Oh shit!
So what's new with you, Fred? Anything new, man?
This right here.
This is it?
This is about it.
I do like it, man. I caught myself listening to it the other day and pretty cool.
I'm just the first few episodes are basically debauchery.
Right.
Not actually. If you filtered it out and if you were able to edit it properly, like it was some good conversation with.
Yeah,
Rick.
but the non-edited parts just had me like laughing.
Yeah.
Right.
It's
A
a little.
lot.
It's a little bit of real life and a little bit of ridiculousness all wrapped
Sure.
in together. That's the idea.
Sounds like real life and real life because we are pretty ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fred says, "Speak for yourselves."
No, I mean I'm doing this. That's pretty ridiculous. I never. I mean, maybe not Tony. Well, I don't know. Well, I made the comment to my wife the other day. Like, would you have ever expected me to be wanting to sit down and talk to strangers for hours at a time? And it's not who I was. So that's
You're very introverted. And
extremely. But I've kind of found, to the point you guys were making earlier, of sometimes you gotta get in people's lives.
right.
That's really.
For me, man, I've literally just been sitting back and like, dude, trying to process, man, and dude, think about like I don't think it's so much going to matter in our lifetime, but dude, what about our children's and dude, their children's, and I don't know, man. I'd like people to start actually just taking the time to sit and dude, try to think about things and think about other opinions versus just their own.
Hell yeah.
Think about that a lot.
Why do you think people don't do that?
I just don't think they care, man.
Well, I mean, why do you think they don't? Like, do you think that was something learned? Do you think they're so damn busy? They're like, I don't have time for that. Or I guess like, where do you think that even came from?
I guess which part are you referring to?
Oh, the fact that they just don't care.
So, dude, and obviously this is my opinion.
Sure.
I think it stems from our education systems, wholeheartedly.
I think that and what children have grown up in.
Right.
Look at, like we've talked about, look at social media.
Yep.
It's 30 seconds at a time, if that.
How many likes do I get? Me.
There's no interaction. There's no,
Right.
you don't get to see the shitty things you say to somebody and their expression. And they're like, what the fuck was that? Like that. There's no that human interaction.
Dude, no one has to take accountability for their actions.
Yeah, because it can be anonymous. Because, all right, if I say something super fucked up, and even if I do regret it the next day, I'll just delete my account.
Yeah.
No big
Dude,
deal.
I'd love to see what an actual poll is. Dude, take kids, start it like from first grade, right? Go in and ask them, dude, like, when's the last time you were disciplined and how? And dude, see what these like.
It'd be interesting.
It would be very interesting, man.
I mean, they'd probably all say, I was disciplined the other day. How dare they take my cell phone away?
Right, absolutely.
Yeah, well, like, and at the same time, I remember you made the comment at one point, like, give it a, like, you can coerce them with a piece of candy. No, I don't coerce a child.
Right.
You know, as a business owner, you don't coerce an employee. It's
Right.
you are here to do a job.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, if I said coerce, I meant kind of reward. If you
Well,
will,
no, you
for-
did say reward, but essentially you were trying, but it's when you're trying to reward a behavior that isn't rewardable.
Well, I didn't say that. I'm just saying. Going back to
I'm
the
not trying to put words
meritocracy.
in your mouth.
Sure.
I'm just trying to fit that analogy in.
No,
that's all I'm trying to do.
Absolutely.
Like because there's a lot of parents out there that I think that do, and there's a lot of people out there, business owners and bosses that are coercing their employees into
Right.
doing the job they need to do. Like, no, like you don't understand how this works. Like you are the employee. When you took this job, you agreed to do
I think
the obligations of this job.
you can break it down even more. It's a participation trophy. You can take it one step
Right.
further.
Right.
Just stop giving them out. You didn't win. You don't get a fucking trophy.
Yeah, shut up and color.
Yeah, well,
Right.
well, yeah. I mean, going to the point of exactly like that. Like, look, like
Solid
not
way to
everyone's a
squeeze that
winner.
one in.
I think that's part of it too. Like,
It doesn't mean you can't be a winner. It's
yeah,
just
no,
not
you
everyone
need
is
to
a
work
winner.
hard to be a winner.
There you go.
You don't just get to be a winner.
Goes
just
back
right out
goes
of-
back to what you guys said about not everyone. I mean, they may be born equal, but they're not equal now. Like everyone's not great.
Yeah, I asked you guys what you would say to your kids. Like, dude, I
Oh,
don't
I was
know
just
what I would
wait- I was
say.
just waiting for
I don't
it.
know what I would.
I was hoping you had a really good one. To lay
No,
on.
dude,
So
I
what
don't
is-
have a good one, man. Because I'm torn on this little. I don't know what you would call it, but like, dude, it's literally truth, man. Like, dude, losers make excuses, winners make money. Period. That is, and
God,
dude,
I thought you were gonna say winners fuck the prom queen. I was like, oh, he went straight for the rock.
no, and dude, I don't even want people to like think of that as kind of like what it sounds like. Dude, winners make money. Dude, take the money out of it. But
What about
dude,
progress?
They succeed. Like,
Yeah.
whatever.
Something.
I know that's just
Maybe,
a
yeah,
symbol.
maybe,
I
yeah.
know that's a symbol.
Like,
I
dude,
get what you're saying, the
success
money,
and
yeah.
succeeding for me, man, is a torn, dude, because that's an opinion, right?
Yeah.
So, dude, everyone has a different opinion of what success looks like.
Absolutely.
You know, there's a ton of people out there say, "Oh, you're successful." I don't think so. I mean, yeah, I got businesses.
What
but
do you measure that success?
What do you?
by?
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Is it happiness? Is it money? Is it this? Is
Yeah.
it that?
So,
Is
dude,
it-
all that is that's a completely other conversation. But that's what it boils down to, though, man. Is you can't go into this world with your hands out, right? Like, period. You can.
someone's gonna smack them.
Yeah,
I'll give you
yeah.
a high five.
Right. An air high five at that. I ain't touching you.
No. That's just dirty.
Yeah, I ain't touching you. Got the COVID. Get that damn hand away from me.
That's dirty.
But dude, that is something to like. It's so simple, and it sounds so simple, but dude, it's the truth, man. Like, dude, roll your sleeves up, work hard. If you fail, dude, you can at least put your head up high and go, yeah, dude, I gave it everything I got.
Dude, I'm signing on to that. Have you ever listened to Jocko Willing's podcast?
Very little.
I tell you what, it's a different one to listen to, but it's phenomenal to listen to. I think I've mentioned it before. Jocko Willing does a interview with, her name was Rose Schindler. She was a Holocaust survivor. I think she's like 94 or something like that. But she wrote a book, and they go through the accounts, and he reads a little bit of the book, this, that, whatever. I think you'd really fucking enjoy his podcast.
I've listened to him, and I get I get too worked up listening to
I can
him.
see
I
that.
do. I get
You know,
dude, I get amped and like, dude, I want to start smashing shit.
Well, this one he's fairly soft because he's across the table from this.
Right.
This
I feel
little
you
old
have to
lady.
be.
Yeah, but it's pretty phenomenal where that out of all the things, the whole time I feel like you're just getting hit with baseball bats.
Right.
Like you're like, oh fuck. Oh jeez. Like fuck. Like, fuck. And then the one that hit me the most, kind of the relatable, not the one that hit me the most, but the relatable one to today. She mentioned where she ended up meeting her husband, They were both Jewish folks that survived the Holocaust and were able to take part of this teen program, and they ended up in, I think, New York, and they ended up, whatever. They ended up getting together, they ended up getting married, whatever. But the point where she talked about coming to the States and how all of them were searching for jobs and work, and they just went to work. They just went to work. They were just hammering, just trying to find a way to get to work. And he said something about you had all these programs, you just went through this horrendous thing. And she's like, well, we can't just sit there and just hang out and take a hint.
Right,
no, we went to work. We got to take care of ourselves. We
Right.
have to live. We have to move forward. We have to find a job. We have to work. We have to make ourselves useful to the world. And it was like, whoa,
Right.
the greatest, and I kind of took that as the greatest thing you can do for yourself is to make you be a benefit to the people around you and
Society. Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
Mind blowing that this person that just went through all that they did, and it was just, and their thought was, fuck, we gotta get to work.
Right.
It's like, what?
It's crazy, man. Dude, over the last few years, I've had people, so one guy in general, man, I've actually became pretty good buddies with. He's about 3.5 hours south of here. Dude called the office one day, asked for me to give him a buzz. And he's like, look, man, I've done landscaping for years, but I've been trying to get into trees. I want to get a tree business going. And he's like, dude, I've looked at all these other companies. He's like, I want to learn from you. Dude, to me, I'm like, holy shit, why do more people, you see these, dude, half-cocked Harrys, man, and dude, why don't they just take the time to ask somebody? And I'm like, dude, I don't have all the answers, but I know quite a few of them. And dude, he's came up a couple times now, man, and dude, just hung out, dude, asked me questions, dude, went out on cruise, and dude, he's got his little notepad, dude, he's jotting stuff down, and dude, that's what inspires me, man, is dude, there are still people out there that want to do good things, dude, whether it's in business, whether it's in education, life, regardless, dude, they want to do good things that don't just benefit themselves, but benefits, society, right. Employees. People ask me all the time, they're like, dude, what happens if something would happen, you have to shut your doors? Okay. What do you mean? What do you okay. So dude, I literally start something else. I go another route. I don't know, man. I just wish people would especially our youth generations, man, take a look at yourself and dude, don't be scared to take chances. And dude, just know you are going to work your ass in the ground.
You have to.
You have to. But dude, there's not that is the best feeling in the world, man, when you put a significant amount of work into something and you see it starting to grow. Dude, it's literally as simple as a garden, right?
Oh, I was just thinking, literally, as you were saying that, yeah. I was like, a garden, man.
It's as simple as a garden.
Simple.
I'd like to see what those statistics show. How many people in today's society have gardens?
Oh, man.
And dude, you look at that and it's well, that's...
I bet it's a lot more than it was 10 years ago.
I would agree with that. But dude, you look at the significance of that, man. And dude, not just the significance of the adults doing it, but dude, who has their kids out there pulling weeds? Dude, snapping green beans, understanding the amount of work that goes into just putting food on your plate in the evening time, right?
Absolutely. And I think we saw that recently with everything that happened a couple months ago, everything's shutting down.
Right.
And I think it's, I just kind of had this thought while you're talking about that. I think it's over the past 10 years, we had technology. I think technology is one of the scariest things to ever have been harnessed by humans. And I think that's one of the things. If we can harness technology, then great. And if we can control it, then great. But I don't think we're going to be able to. But I think to your point, I think that in that last 10 years, we started riding it, and then there's a lot of people that saw it taking us in the wrong direction, and there's a split right now.
Right.
And obviously it's not all tied in together, but I think there has been that last 5 years or so of people going, maybe we shouldn't keep going down this path. It's kind of scary, and we've talked about it.
Yeah.
When we talked about Elon Musk, when he's afraid of his own technology,
Oh,
like
it's
crazy.
that's a red flag,
Right.
You know. And I think there's people are starting to split, and I think we're living in a unique time frame where the future's gonna be all super fucked up.
It's going to be crazy.
But we're living in a time where everything's kind of starting to fork off.
Right.
And it's, all right, which one's going to be the dominant road that humanity goes down? Right, it's going to be interesting.
So where do we go from here, boys? How do we unite the clans? Get back to the basics.
Unity 2020.
Unity 2020.
I just keep on preaching it.
Unity.
Well, hello there, Kyle.
Yes. Yes. Oh, that's the second time that's happened on this now.
Man, everything you guys have said, I just, it's funny, man. I looked it up just because I wanted to read it again because it's such a great quote that so many people love. But that Roosevelt quote, man, when he was I think he was in France maybe, and he was giving that speech, and it was the man in the arena quote. Like there's so many principles from that quote that you guys have said today or spoken towards today. I'll read. You want to read this thing real quick, dude? It's a sweet quote.
Yeah, go for it. I know you said you want to.
You gotta go.
You gotta get going here pretty soon. We can close it out, and if you want to read the quote, I mean,
I
or we
will,
can take
man.
a potty
I
break
will.
and come back for another hour or two. Either way,
So it goes, it is not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles, or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes short again and again because there is no effort without error and shortcoming, but who does actually strive to do the deeds, who knows great enthusiasms, the great devotions, who spends himself in a worthy cause, who at the best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who at worst, if he fails, at least fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who neither know victory nor defeat.
Can I ask you something? Is there a period of time that you did the audio on books recordings? Because dude, you've got that voice that you just used. I think you should. I think you pick up some.
you should do a. What do they call it? Voiceovers.
That's
Should be a voiceover.
that's how we encourage our guys, isn't it? We just they hear our voices and they're just boom, they're ready to rock, get after it.
You should be a voiceover guy.
You should do voiceovers.
And the
I like
announcing,
that though, man.
ladies and gentlemen.
No, that's too fake.
Oh, no buffer.
No.
Okay,
No,
sorry.
There's only one buffer.
Yeah, well, he has a brother, but
God damn it.
no, man. I just feel like that quote kind of encapsulates or embodies just a lot of the things you guys were saying, man. Some of the principles of getting back to the basics of just rudimentary, if you will.
Without the attempts of failure, there is no success.
Oh, dude, that's another thing, man. That
I don't know where that came from. I probably read it somewhere.
No, I've read that too, and I don't read shit.
I don't
so
know. Like I don't.
it's out there.
I thought of it. I'm sure it's out there. I'm not that smart enough to figure it out myself.
let me ask you this: since we've built these businesses together, as you fail or even as you succeed, does it become easier to kind of attempt the next thing, or to just let something roll off and to just forge ahead?
Oh, I think that's kind of a tricky question because for me, man, the webs just get so tangled that, dude, there's literally not, and you've said this in numerous times. You're like, dude, you used to be so miserable at points to talk to and be around because you were like such a son of a bitch. And like, dude, you just get, honestly, you get numb to let down, you get numb to failures. And then you finally just go like, dude, it is what it is. Like, these hurdles are going to come at us, like, but I'm not stopping. I'm going to keep pushing forward, dude. I'm going to keep working hard, like, keep running ahead. Like, I'm going to keep throwing fists back, dude, until I finally get put on the ground and I don't.
Or you knock them out.
Or you knock them out, one of the two, yeah. I don't see another way around it.
Cue up that LL Cool J. No, I just wondered because I've had people say, they're like, how do you guys take the chances that you take? Like, that scares the shit out of me. And I'm like, well, number one, they're not just chances. They're very calculated risks. Like
Very.
I know you look at us and you might think those dudes are wild. And we may be wild, but you know, we have a wild sense of calculation that you probably don't see. But honestly, for me, man, the more things that you do, or the more times you take those risks and you succeed, or even when you take those chances and you fail, it's easier to go, well, I mean, I'm going to try it again. Like, I've already been here. I've done this. I've succeeded. It was awesome. But let's do something else. I failed and I learned from that failure. Oh, let's do it a little bit differently and see if it works.
Right. Now, is that because of the repeated success, or is it just because of the increased confidence?
Oh, I don't know that it's the success, because it's not only success. I mean, success
No,
drives
but that's
part
what I
of it.
mean. Like, just
Yeah.
you mentioned, like, once you succeed, you're able to go more
Well,
because
and-
you succeeded.
yeah, and
is
I-
it really the confidence that's pushing you going? Because if you succeed once, you can go.
Yeah, that, and I guess confidence probably would be the right word. It's, dude, it's evolution. Like, dude, we've evolved so much,
That's-
man, over
that's
the
what I was
last
gonna
like 3
say.
to 4 years. And dude, you constantly are evolving as throughout life, right? If you're not, you've failed at some point, right? So as fathers, as business owners, dude, as husbands, like, you guys are constantly evolving.
You have to.
You have to, right? So I feel, man, you just have to take it on the chin, and dude, you just keep pushing forward. And for me, it's like, I get a thrill out of it. Like, dude, most people look at it as like, oh my God, like, dude, how could you sleep at night? For me, I get a kick out of it, man. Dude, it's like if I throw, like, dude, a stack down on the roulette table. Like, dude, and that's the thing. People's like, oh my God,
Those endorphins.
yeah, like, you just lost that. No, I didn't. Did you see you don't see the feeling and the rush that I just got
Yeah,
for the last 2
I
minutes.
paid for that fucking enjoyment.
Yeah,
Thank you very much.
No, I paid
I
for
get
that.
that.
I paid for that enjoyment. And dude, I get the same thing with business, man. Like, dude, when I lock down a huge contract, or dude, I get a winning bid on a state job, like, dude, I get the same rush out of that as I do. And dude, not only that, going back to employees, like, dude, when I see a guy that we've hired in as a groundsman, and dude worked his way up, becomes a foreman, and dude, I see him succeeding, I get that same level of rush as everything else I just described. So, like,
I could see that.
it is.
Well,
man.
I mean, not in a bad way, but I think there's a level of selfishness in in succeeding and
Yeah.
seeing somebody else succeed. We're like, yeah, like, I helped them do that, like,
Right.
Because that's what feeling good is, right?
Yeah.
That's being selfish, but
Right.
not all selfishness is bad.
I don't really think any selfishness is
Well,
bad.
I mean, it depends. Well, as soon as your selfishness starts negatively affecting other
right.
people,
I agree with that.
Yeah.
I feel like there's some females that would disagree with you.
No, I mean, I know there was a one job at one point that I was doing, and I was doing a lot of extra things. And they're like, like, you really don't, like, I don't want to put that on you because you've done so much extra recently. And I'm like, all right, well, one, I'm here and I can do it, and two, do you really think I'm doing this out of the goodness of my heart, like,
Right.
solely out of the, like, no, is this going to be a bad thing on my record? We're like, no, this is going to look really good. And I said, so
Right.
yeah, there's a level of there's a tiny bit of selfishness because I enjoy succeeding.
Yeah, and dude, I get that too, man. There's plenty of people out there that, dude, don't like that, like what I've done with myself. They don't, dude, they've got shade to cast, like, oh, you do this for yourself, you do this for monetary gains. Yeah, no shit. Right? Right? Like, obviously,
Why
like,
else would you spend that much time?
Why, like, obviously, like, I'm gonna get mine, right? Like, that's any business owner that.
But that's just some, like you said, cast. I don't know. I don't know exactly what casting shade means. I feel like it was a Taylor Swift song, so I don't like.
That was Taylor Swift?
I think maybe not. Maybe
Oh, is that T Swift?
T
I don't
Swift?
know. Maybe she didn't. She probably didn't come up. She obviously.
There's
didn't
no
reach-
way she came up with
She
that.
didn't come up with that bullshit.
She's
Yeah, I
too
don't
busy-
even know
Too
why.
busy trying to push the Democratic platform.
Yeah, she's too busy hating on men. But regardless, like, I don't mean selfishness is a bad connotation in
Right.
that. Like, I think you have to have a little bit of selfishness to go through life, and not as in a good way, but as in a way of, you have to have a little bit to take care of yourself. 'Cause
Absolutely.
if you can't take care of yourself, figure your own shit out, and figure your own life out, you can't help anybody else
Right.
out.
Right.
And that's what I mean by that.
Yeah.
Not
no,
in a bad way.
absolutely.
So, I mean, obviously, like, there's some people out there that they're selfish beyond a degree that is
Right.
bad for the world in itself. But
Yeah, and I think it also goes into like, yeah, you derive something from that success or that money, but like, what do you do after that? So that boosts you to become, either a more confident person or to go, hey, I succeeded. Now I can help someone else succeed. Or
Right.
I have this money. Now I can help someone else, do something with this money. And like, you don't just do it for you. Like you may,
Oh, there's something in that. that's-
yeah, in a small party, you may go, sweet, I got some commas in my bank account. Sweet. I'm driving a fast car. I'm drinking good bourbon. But, dude, your family lives very well. My family lives very well. And then, dude, outside of that, I don't know how many times I'm like, I see an email and I'm like, oh, we're sponsoring that race, which is for these veterans, or hey, we're sponsoring, this, which helps the school, or there's stuff I don't even know about. Football
Right.
teams are, and not even just like, hey, the company kicks money. It's, hey, we genuinely care enough, specifically Corey, where I've seen he's gone to these events and like, hey, I care about these kids. I want to watch them. I want to support them. I bring them a cooler full of drinks, and it blows their mind, man. And and that all happened. If we didn't have that company, dude, he wouldn't be able to sponsor that team. Wouldn't be able to have money for the cooler. Wouldn't be able to have money for the drinks. So I don't want the listeners to just go, oh, those dudes are just making.
And I've told you that, like, dude, probably like one of the greatest like moments, man, that this business has given me is, dude, Bane's baseball team, dude, seeing like our logo on his shirts. Like, dude, that was like, I'm like, there's nothing better than that out there, man. Like, and it's so funny, man. Like, we talk about this. We used to talk about this all the time, Tone, and it happens often. Is, dude, we'll be out eating dinner, and it doesn't have to be local, man. Portage Lakes, I don't care where it is, and dude, people come up and be like, "Oh, the road guys," and do what? We'll strike up a conversation. But dude, since I've been involved with like a lot of these different kids teams, dude, I'll be out, and dude, these kids will come running up, and I'm like, dude, for a minute, I'm like, I have to look around. I'm like, what are you, what are you doing here? You're making me uncomfortable.
You're not mine, right?
Godfather Corey, let me kiss the ring.
No, I think there's something to that though. Like,
Yeah.
because at the same time, like, it's there was a point in my life where I felt like I had started kind of finding myself, like
Sure.
you talked about, and figuring my shit out. And one of the kind of the first goal I set for myself was, all right, if I can help one person to kind of make their life just a little bit easier, just to kind of just to help them a little bit, like, helping the kids teams and stuff like that. Like, and the second that they go, hey, you know what? Thanks. Like, for being that one person at that one point in time where there was nobody else, or you said that one thing, even though you called me a complete fuckhead,
Right.
and to pull my head out of my ass, it made me realize I need to pull my head out of my ass. And ever since that day, that's changed my life.
Right.
Like, that stuff is just mind blowing. The fact that, going back to the impact you can have on people's lives just
Right.
by having a conversation, being honest
Right.
with somebody.
And that's where being a good boss, it's the same thing, right?
Yeah.
So like, people, a lot of people, especially society, uses the word privileged, right? And very controversial. Dude, I was privileged in the fact that, dude, I was given a father that instilled very good values in me growing up. I've met, dude, a ton of guys. I've hired a ton of guys that, dude, they didn't have that, right? So they didn't have. And dude, I don't want moms or women to take this the wrong way, but women cannot do what cannot give what a father does. Like, and I will argue that with anybody. Like, dude, there is a set of values that a father instills in a kid that I personally could never receive or get that feeling from a woman.
No, and at the same time, to kind of
That goes both ways.
It goes both ways.
100% goes both ways.
Yeah, there's
Yep.
things that men
Cannot even come close to
not do
Yep.
that women can do. I mean, particularly push them out of their vaginas.
Right. Right. Well,
I mean,
yeah, no, absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like, but well beyond that, there's a lot.
That goes both ways,
Yeah.
right? I mean, dude, there's one guy that sticks out to me. Like, actually, there's two guys, man, over the years that I've hired. Dude, the one got out of prison. Dude had miscellaneous drug charges. And dude, I literally just gave him a second chance, right? And the day that I left that organization, walked up, dude, shook my hand and was like, dude, I personally just want to tell you thank you. Like, without you, I wouldn't be in my house. You know, he was a first time homeowner that year. Dude had his kids moved in, his new wife, like, and was on the road to success, man. What I consider successful, like, dude, you've got your family, you've got your house. Like, another kid I had, man, like day one was covered in literal swastikas. He had them tattooed both arms, his chest, and dude, it took probably 7 to 8 weeks of conversations with him. And, you know, he's like, you're wrong. And dude, just very open, honest conversations with him. Dude, about 6 months later, he came in and we started noticing covering them up one at a time. Ended up covering all of them up. And dude, don't get me wrong. Like, I'm a pretty fucked up individual, but I also have a lot of good values. And dude, that's one of them, man. Like, I dislike hate to a passion, man. And like, dude, that symbol is like one, in my opinion, you don't get much more hateful of a single.
Yeah, it's pretty encapsulating.
Right. So
as far as the world goes,
dude, just to be able, and you know, there's a ton of people out there would have looked at him and immediately judged him, immediately
cast him aside and dismissed him.
Yeah, basically just dismissed him. And dude, just a few conversations with him, and you understood why he thought the way he did, why he did that. He just wasn't around good enough people to make a comprehensive decision. And that's cool stuff, man. That's really cool to be able to say, you know what, like, I feel I had a hand in changing kind of his thought process.
Well, I've said it before, you know, it really goes back and just really drives that home is, you know, to understand where someone's coming from.
Right.
Even if you completely disagree with them, you know, to have a conversation with somebody like that you completely disagree with, you have to understand why they think that way. And then, okay, let's talk
about anything, any topic in life.
Yeah. They very well may be very super wrong.
Right.
But at the same time, you have to go into that going, all right, I might be super wrong too, but let's talk about this and then figure out who the fuckhead is.
Yeah.
Like, because it might be me, it might be you, or it might be 50-50.
Right.
Like, let's meet in the middle.
Why do you think that's changed so much, man? Where has the combativeness and difference of opinion led to such levels of animosity that you see today?
Dude, on a very surface level, you guys already answered that question. Dude, the fact that people aren't sitting down like us and having face-to-face conversations.
That's exactly.
And when you say something and your face goes, I don't get to see that.
Yeah.
You know, I see a eggplant with a middle finger emoji or something crazy. Like
eggplant means dick, right?
That's right.
Right.
Cool.
So like that face right there, like it makes sense. Oh, he's joking.
Oh yeah.
Or if I go, you know, when like we made the comment.
Oh, is that what that means?
Like, and when I go, like, when you made the comment before about why are these kids doing this, and I'm like, because they weren't beat.
Right.
Yeah.
That you don't see that facial expression to go, okay, that may be a shitty joke, but the guy's joking.
Right.
You know, regardless, it may be shitty. It may not be very funny at all, but okay, I can tell the guy was joking, so I'm not going to ramp it up to 1,000 right off the bat. I can go, yeah, that wasn't
we'll do that, and
you know,
being offended it's not a real thing. It's a feeling.
No, yeah, but there's some things that people legitimately could take offense at.
Right.
That you could say. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It is a feeling.
Right.
It's a thing that, like, when we talked about this with Dan Crenshaw before, they got how the SNL, like,
porn star hitman.
Yeah, was it an offensive thing that SNL did? Yes, but he chose not to take offense to it.
Right.
That doesn't change the fact that the people that were saying or doing the things that it was fucked up.
Right. I think
just didn't get it.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is obviously you can be offended, but like, was there malicious intent from the speaker, right?
And that's kind of we talked about too, and where it really boils down to me at least is intentions,
right?
You know, were your intentions shitty, or were your intentions to make a joke? It just fucking didn't turn out very good.
You just fucked that one up.
You're just not a comedian, so maybe not try not to do that next time.
Dude, you're like, I don't know what you'd call it, body of nascence, or you're like your pops, man. How many times did you ever see your pops get offended?
He doesn't have the ability to.
And how much shit did people say to him?
Right. Because he broke
he gets
shit.
upset.
Well, he breaks shit.
I'm not
He
saying
gets
that.
offended.
I'm not saying that, but like, you probably learn some of those things too. So
Right.
if you've got a mom or a dad and they get highly offended by just something that was either taken out of context or just something that maybe it was slightly offensive, but if they're not looking at they're not the guy was a comedian with Crenshaw, like he could have taken it out of context, and when he said in the military or whatever, like he could have said, dude, I lost an eye for you, motherfucker. But
I lost an eye for you to give you that right to say
yes,
that
yeah,
to me.
but he,
Right.
he laughed. He said,
Yeah.
kind of life goes. So that's going back to what I'm saying. Like the people you were raised by too. Like how much offense did they show, and how much did you learn from that? I guess.
Right.
So
Yeah.
two things right there. I don't know what else. If you can think of some other things.
and to touch on that real quick, just to kind of wrap that piece of it up, though, too, is there are things that are really super shitty things that people just shouldn't say, regardless.
Sure.
There is that end of the spectrum of no, that's just really fucked up. Like regardless of how you spin it, even if you're trying to make like, I'm a firm believer that jokes can be made about just about everything.
I agree.
99.9% of things. But there is that 0.1% where that joke goes way too far, and it's like that's no longer a joke. That's just shitty.
Hey, you don't say that.
Hey, you don't say.
Hey, you don't say that.
Yeah. But no, I think like you said, I think it's just the culture we're living in. Particularly, I think it's been inflamed by
I agree with that.
COVID.
Fucking
Yes, I use
COVID.
quotation marks. Not that I don't think it's real. I think it's a real thing, but
No, I mean, you just think people are like, hey, I'm not working, I'm not busy. Like, I need
Well,
to pay
it's
attention
that,
to
and-
something. Let me just
yeah,
get offended by
and
shit
people
instead of
are
being.
locked up inside their houses. They're not interacting with people they normally do. So, like, people are penned up. A lot of people are penned up. A lot of people, and then all the things that happen, and then the things they're seeing on a day-to-day basis it just keeps on ramping it up and ramping it up. So they're sitting at home with nothing else to do but being pissed off that they can't fucking pay their bills and they don't know how to fucking feed their kids. So they get more aggravated because the government fucking shut them down, and it's just click, 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 fuck.
Right.
You know what I mean? I think that's why we've seen an exponential increase.
I think that's why you've also seen a humongous division.
I think there's so many things that we talked about too. I think there's so many things coming together.
Right.
You can't slap one label.
No,
on one
absolutely.
thing.
I agree with that.
And I think that's where do you parse that out? I mean, I guess within the individual is like this right here.
Yeah, more importantly, like, dude, how do you move forward? And dude, I think it's years of conversations. Oh. Skeet on the table.
Jeez. I need to take a piss. Are we gonna keep rolling?
I can keep rolling.
I can keep rolling.
All right, I need to take a piss real quick. I mean, you guys can.
You
it's
sure?
worth it,
You
well, I'm
sure
not.
you want to
I'll keep
walk
it.
away from these microphones?
I mean, I have to edit it. It's not live though. That's why I need a bigger room.
What are you drinking over there, old son?
I don't know, man. I got some Rowan's Creek. Pretty good bourbon, man. Pretty sure that's made by the Willett family, correct?
It is made by the Willett family.
A buddy of mine, Michael Harwood, picked them up. He picked that up and picked up another bottle for me. I finally opened this one up today, man, and I'm actually pretty big fan of it. It's got some pretty bold flavors, to be honest with you.
Yeah, no, it's good, man. That what was it? The Noah's Mel was the other one,
Noah's Mill, yeah.
and then was it the Family Estate Rye? And man, you've got that good 6-year rye that you're just tearing
Good.
through.
It's good. I had to put it away for
Tearing.
a second, man. I drank almost half a bottle of it.
And you like some ryes. You're a big whistle
Yeah.
pig guy.
Yep. Yeah, it's good, man. Dude, I did pick up a couple solid cigars today.
Did you?
Yeah.
What'd you get?
Dude, it's the, if I want to pronounce it correct, the Andalusian Bull.
Bro, that's too Greek for me. I can't pronounce that.
I brought one and gave it to Fred. He says he's going to try it this weekend when he's on vacation, and
Nice.
pretty incredible. It's been a while, man. I haven't had time to drink much bourbon lately, man. It's been busy. I haven't smoked a cigar in a few weeks either. And dude, finally today, man, I was like, I gotta get some. I gotta get a couple sticks. And
Yeah.
these colder nights, man, are starting to.
Oh, they're the best.
Dude, they're making me so
best.
excited. I literally just. It's honestly starting to relight some inner fires, man. So
Good.
dude, you know how that storm starts to get
Oh, yeah.
stagnant, and dude, with life stresses and business stresses, dude, you start feeling like a sense of defeatment, and then there's those certain things in life that just relight the fire. And dude, these cold nights, and dude, thinking about sitting in a tree stand come October,
Ooh.
those are starting to relight the flame.
Cheers to that. Appreciate you, brother.
Appreciate you, brother. Brought the buffalo trays.
Little BT. A little bit cliche, but it's good.
Can't go wrong with it.
Got a bunch of store picks. I think you've tried a few of them, but they're pretty fun to sit down and that. You drink enough, man, they actually do taste a little bit different. So
Fred's big ass gonna float on the steps.
it's a possibility.
Did you get what you needed?
Yeah.
Little bang.
Yeah. I really like them. Tasty.
Don't we all?
The drink.
Obviously.
Yeah, well, either way, that's cool.
So, Fred, you ready for hunt season, man?
Oof. Yeah. Why not?
So, Tony and I were just sitting here talking about. I said these cold nights, and
Oh man, there's nothing like walking out there seeing the fog.
it's
and
the best.
frost.
I'm ready
Oh,
for the
it's so
frost, man.
nice.
I've been wanting to take the boys out and do a little bit of squirrel hunting, but waiting for that frost to hit.
I wish you could stay like that year round. Just like
Me too.
where it's like 50 in the morning.
Yep.
Or like maybe like 40 in the morning, then like get up to like 75.
That's
during
my
the
that's
day.
my day. That's my perfect day.
Oh man,
Fred, when was the last time you shot a deer?
the year before last.
I got you.
Last year, I went out bow hunting because I just really like bow hunting. That's my
That's where it's at.
That's my gig. I got one the year before last, and then last year I was out hunting preseason. I was all amped. I had it all planned out and everything, and I end up having a tooth die and having to get a root canal.
I remember that.
I was up in my stand, and I'm like, man, I don't feel so good. I started getting real cold, and like I was like fucking freezing. I'm like, man, I know I didn't quite prepare for the weather, but it was only like maybe 35, like mid 30s. And I'm like, man, I've been out here when it's like 5 degrees. I'm like, and I start out. It was about like 45 minutes before the sun like went down, like prime time, and I'm like, no, I can't do this. I got inside my truck and I was just like, I was like, what the fuck? I got to the cabin, got all covered up, and I just sat there and I was just shaking, and my mouth just started throbbing. And I was like, man, you know what? I was like, I'm getting sepsis. I'm dying. That's what's happening right now. I am getting sepsis and I am dying. So I ended up driving home that night and having to get a root canal 2 days later, and it was
No bueno.
no. I don't know if. I think half of my shit's still like in that. I think it got taken down.
Left it.
I think my tree stand and everything eventually got taken down. But yeah, I haven't. It was rough.
What about you, brother?
I shot a handful last year.
Yeah. Down in WV or up here?
Both.
Yeah.
Yeah, both. It's been a while though, man. It's one of those things that every year, and it's just like shooting predator hunting, man. Getting coyotes coming in and taking shots at them, and dude, it's one of those things that every year I'm like, all right, right now I'm thinking it, right? So October, it'll be here, dude. I'll be in a tree stand, and then, dude, October comes. And a project comes up, and then I blink my eye, and it's February, and it happens every single year, and I miss out on a lot.
That was my original plan. Like you have I'm gonna go down there. I got these days set, and then something happens, and it just time moves fast.
Did you remember the last coyote you shot?
Up on them hay bales. It was what, negative 25 or
It was
20?
it was the coldest day of the year, and we're in the office, and he just glances out the window, and he's got some weird eagle eyesight. Like if he took growth hormone, I don't even know what he would be able to see. Like his eyes would.
No,
be
he's
so
got
good.
he's got an insane eyesight. His
Yeah.
memory is pretty shit when it comes to lyrics
Well, I think
and
that,
quotes.
well, yeah.
That's all right. We're not talking about that. We're talking about
Yeah,
eyesight.
eyesight though.
That is
Eyesight's
true,
great.
though. I got a lot of stuff mixed up.
You're like the guy from Boondock Saints.
Yeah.
People in glass houses, six ships.
Right.
No Tourette's though. No offense to Tourette's, but no, we were in the office and he looks out and he's like, "You see that, Kyle?" And I'm like, "I don't see shit." And I'm like legally blind in my left eye, and he's like, "Yeah."
Oh yeah, of course you don't see.
He's
shit.
like, "It's well, I got a good right eye though."
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah.
See, you have no 3D vision. That shit's fucked up. I've been there
man,
before.
it is-
I wear contacts. I have a one that doesn't do good.
I don't. I had contacts for a hot second. And I was like,
You just like wear one contact?
No, I don't do any contacts.
Like-
I'm just not doing it. But no, he's like, "You see that thing?" I'm like, "I don't see that thing." So finally, he's like, "Dude, it's out there." And I'm like, "Well, what are we doing? Pitter patter. Let's get at her. Like, let's go." So he's got this 6'5", what Creedmoor, 6'5"
Yeah.
Creedmoor, 6'5" Creedmoor, and he's like, "Dude, I got to shoot this thing." And I'm like, "Yeah,
Of course
let's
you
go,
do.
let's go." So
I have been letting raccoons out over there just in case you can shoot.
You son of a bitch. Wonder why our dumpster's covered in raccoon tracks.
So no, we go tearing ass out of there in the truck with the gun, and man, at one point he literally stops and he looks across the field, and he's like, "Yeah, I shouldn't shoot this." He goes, "Hold on a second." I'm like, "Who are you calling?" He's like, "Don't worry about it." So he calls his farmer. He's like, "Hey, I see a coyote across your field. You care if I shoot it?" And the guy's like, "Hammer on."
Yeah, please do,
Hammer on.
probably. Yeah, right.
So he puts the gun out the window, and I'm like, "Dude, do you want to do that? Like, that might shatter your windows." And he's like,
Nah, it should be all right.
It would've been all right.
he goes, I'm like, "Dude, I don't know." I was like, I don't know about that. So he thinks about it and he's like, "Okay, we'll try and get a better position." So he whips around the block. I mean, dude, it's like literally negative 25 degrees out.
Yeah.
It's freezing. We're not from Canada. We're not from Minnesota. Like, we're from Ohio. We're not used to this negative 25 degree
hurts to
stuff.
breathe.
And I can take some cold and you can take some
And dude, we're not dressed for
no,
it
no,
whatsoever.
we're in a t-shirt
Right.
and jeans. T-shirts and jeans. We
Well-
didn't have time to put shit on, so we whip around the block.
You're not surprising me.
we whip around the block, and dude, this thing kind of disappears from sight, and you just had that intuition. You're like, "Dude, I know where he's coming. He's going to come up over this crest." And I'm out there, I'm spotting, and there's these hay bales, and dude, this wind is whipping. It's whipping, and dude, we're just waiting on this thing. We're waiting on this thing. And I'm like, "Dude, is it coming?" It's so cold I can't even spot, dude. I put my head down. Dude, old freaking the legend, American sniper over here is just peering through the scope. He's gonna get this thing, dude.
Dude, so I'm up on top.
On top
they
of
had
like was it three or four hay
round bales. Round bales. So they had like a
Jesus.
dry storage system set up with like the big white tarps
Right.
covering them.
Oh yeah.
So dude, I crawl up on top of this thing, and dude, it wasn't my 6.5. It was that piece of shit AR-15
Oh,
in
I
this.
thought it was your 6.5.
No, dude, I would only shot once if it was my 6.5. Dude, the AR, the scope, like the reticle twisted in it, and then like the I don't know, basically where your eye compensation comes into effect.
Right.
Dude, it wasn't focused. So like I had to keep twisting the gun out in front of me to even get enough light passage through the scope.
Oh, that's all messed up.
Yeah.
That's a shitty ass scope. That sounds like.
Yeah, unfortunately it was. But regardless, dude, we smashed it. It was so cold. Though I look down and that wind's coming, and I can feel my ears like almost feel like they're hardening. And I look down, and dude, Tony's like crawled up in a fetal position, and he's like, "Just fucking shut
Oh
it."
no, dude! You remember what I said to you? I was like, "Dude, you either shoot the coyote or shoot me, dude." I said, "Shoot the coyote or shoot me," and dude, it was on like a pretty good trot, and you fired. I think it was 3 times, and then crazy fourth shot was just a headshot.
Just
dude,
rolled it.
dropped it.
Yeah, it was.
Just dropped it.
Fred and I have a pretty good story about. Dude, do you remember those deer out in that field?
When you almost shot me?
Oh, God
is that
damn
the,
it.
Is that the one you're talking
You're
about?
hyperbolizing this story.
Do you even know what that means?
Yes.
Okay. Just making sure.
Fuck off.
You whipped it out there real quick.
Wouldn't be the first time, apparently. 3 kids later.
No, yeah. So is that the time you're talking about? The time you almost shot me?
Well, in your direction, a shot.
Yeah, I heard. I heard the bullet.
Well, you should have.
Did you feel the bullet? Though?
That's right. Did you
Hey,
die?
did you die?
Did you die?
Like, did you die?
Regardless, dude. These what was it 3 does?
It was 2 or 3. Yeah.
Dude
Yeah.
was I was like, Fred, these deer are laying out in this field. So
Yep.
he went down to like get in front of them, and I started walking towards
He's like,
them.
well, these deer are going. I'll kick them up.
Yeah.
So give you a really, really easy shot because I still don't know what the fuck I'm doing. But particularly, like I can bow hunt, but other than that, that's about. You'd think gun hunting is easier. Sometimes it's not. There's a strategy to it.
Right.
He was like, yeah. He's like, you go down there, you stand right there, and I'll kick them up towards you. I'm like, okay, I'll rip some rounds off. Sure, why not? Yeah, then what happened? What happened,
Dude,
Corey?
so what had happened was everything.
What had happened was,
Dude, everything went as planned.
Yep.
The deer stood up.
Yep.
Dude, they seen me. They run right towards Fred.
Sure did.
So I seen Fred start shooting.
Nope, false.
Is that not true?
Not true.
Are you sure I didn't
positive.
see you shoot at all?
Yeah, no, I'm positive because I remember there was
But did you shoot at all?
no, I did not.
Yes, you
No, I did not.
at all during the whole event.
Correct.
You didn't
Not
shoot
at
one
all.
shot.
Because where I was at, there was. So
was
think about it. Yeah, think about it as like there was a little creek. So it was out in the middle of a field. Like
Right.
we saw him laying down a
Yeah.
cut cornfield in the winter. So and there was a little creek that was kind of had like a 75-degree bend in it. And there was a little clump of maybe little willows. I don't know what
Some
they were.
goldenrod, some
Little
willows.
trees right at the corner of this. So him being the experienced hunter, he says, go hide behind that corner.
Right.
And then I'll kick him up from the other side past you. And I'm like, okay, that makes sense. Sure. And then, so I hide and not behind the corner, and the deer come running towards me as he said they were. Man of his word.
I thought you shot.
No.
Maybe my memory's twisted.
No shots at all.
Okay.
Except for him shooting. He's like, so I'm standing there. I'm like, all right, like, yeah, I'm gonna get my first deer with my shotgun. I'm gonna get it. And I see him jump up, and I'm like, oh fuck yeah. They start coming to me. Boom! Hear the fucking slug fly past me, and I'm like, what the fuck? Boom! And then this deer just fucking rolls. So he missed one.
Rolled it.
Almost hit me, but shot this deer smack dab in the back of the head.
Dude, running.
Running, yeah. And they're like, deer, they do the pounce.
bound,
It's
yeah,
not like the
they
mule
bound.
deer where they
Right,
bounce,
yeah.
but they're like, they roll.
Yeah.
Like white, it was a whitetail. And I walk out and I'm like, what the fuck was that? He was like, I couldn't help myself. They ran like they're running like directly away from him. So he just had this straight line. So he just ended up just.
Deer hit the ground.
here's the real question: are you guys still friends?
Yeah.
That's what matters.
Fine.
Yeah.
That's what matters.
No one died.
It was a little contentious for a little bit after that.
Yeah, we had some
Yeah, it
we had
was
some
fine.
issues periodically.
But oh man,
It was fun though, man. We've had some good hunting times, especially down at the cabin, man. That's the thing. Like, I think that's even. I want to say it's lost, but numbers doesn't show it's lost. You look at hunting sales and deer check-ins over the last 15 years. Numbers doesn't show that it's dwindling, but I don't know if maybe even the experience is dwindling. People talk about like, go sitting at the hunting cabin, like,
Yeah.
dude, the hunting's the least. Like, dude, that's
Oh, yeah.
off to its side. But dude, just
Waking
sitting
up,
there,
the
man,
breakfast, the
like,
bullshit,
dude,
the banter, the
oh,
stories.
dude, it is
that's the only reason I go gun hunting. I've
Right.
told people before, they're like, "Oh, you hunt?" And I'm like, "Well, like I go bow hunting."
Right.
But like, I've gone shotgun hunting, but I've still to this day I've never killed a deer with my shotgun.
really.
I've never killed a deer with a gun. People are like, well, what? I'm like, well, I really just go shotgun hunting to drink beer and
Yeah.
hang out. Like,
Is that what it is, Fred, or you just fucking a terrible shot?
no, I've never shot my shotgun.
Never
I've
shot
never
it?
shot a gun at a deer.
Do you ever go during muzzleloader?
No, I even have a muzzleloader too. I've never shot my muzzleloader either.
That's a blast, man. Seeing them smoke cannons just rolling.
I'd like to, but I
that's
just
so much
never like.
fun.
I have all the stuff to do it.
That was
But
the,
I've
that
just
was the only
never-
one I shot, man. Was during muzzleloader season.
Pops and I, this past year, man, dude, that was a blast.
Yeah.
We rolled 2 right off the rip. It was a great time.
Dude, how about that wild boar hunting trip we took the guys on?
That was a blast. Dude, I would have done anything for you to be on that,
Oh
man.
my god, dude, you would have
I
loved
heard
it.
stories. It sounded crazy.
It was crazy.
It was something.
We'll do it again, man. Do it again as soon as we can.
I'll try
As
not
soon as
to
we're not- we
try
don't
not to
have
have
to
a
be
heart
social.
attack.
I've got you now.
Yeah.
Well, that was really
I'll try not to have a heart attack next time we go when I'm trying to film you.
Yeah, that was good stuff.
That was interesting.
Did you end up getting a chance to watch that movie at all? The Gentleman.
I don't think you talked to me about The Gentleman.
Oh, it was put in the group message.
I'm not in the group message.
No, Dusty sent it to me and you. Pretty sure it was to me and you. It could have been me and Austin.
No, are you talking about the one with Charlie Hunnam?
The Guy Ritchie movie, right?
Yeah. So I'm not. Dude, I didn't know anything
okay.
about that, but I did watch that right when it came out. Pretty sweet movie.
Dude, very good,
I
man.
enjoyed it. Yeah. The typical Guy Ritchie, like trying to figure out the sequence of events and how like the chronology is not where you think it is. And no, awesome. I'd have to refresh my memory on what transpired, but what was it? Hugh Grant was in it too. He was like a reporter or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. No, it was a fun movie for
Excellent, man. He makes some awesome films.
Dude, Snatch, Lock, Stock.
Oh, Snatch. Oh,
So
that's one of my favorite movies.
The
That's one of my favorite movies.
right.
What the fuck you need? Fucking
Dude, who's the guy, man? That's he rocks the Desert Eagle 50 cal. He's sitting there at that table and he says, "Your pistol says a replica. Mine says Desert Eagle 50 cal."
Mincy balls.
What was his name?
Is it, Tony something? Isn't that his name?
I think it was Tony something. Tony the Bullet
Bullet
Tooth.
Tooth.
Bullet Tooth Tony.
Not to be confused with Boris the Blade.
No, yeah, Bullet Tooth Tony. Yeah, Boris the Blade. Yeah.
Boris the Blade. Benicio del Toro's in that movie too. The Mexican Brad Pitt.
Right.
Sicario. That's a great one.
Excellent.
I've never seen
1 and 2.
Yeah. No, dude. I Taylor Sheridan, man. He's the man. He did Yellowstone too.
Dude, Yellowstone is incredible.
Oh yeah.
One of my favorite series.
I'd like to check that out. I haven't.
Oh, dude.
I never have. I know you
love
told me
man.
about it, but
You'll
I don't
love
have.
it.
Was it's on HBO or something like that?
No, it's on Paramount.
Paramount.
That's the weird thing.
Paramount.
Yeah,
That's right.
Paramount.
That's what it was.
So
Yeah, I don't have it. I haven't watched. I don't remember the last time I sat down and watched a TV show or a movie. Honestly, I've been.
that's probably it for me, man. I mean, I typically try and watch Sons of Anarchy about once a year. I think you do too.
Every year, yep.
Yeah.
Honestly, I normally start at about this time of the year. That's my earliest memories, man, of you. That's how it was, it was season 1. Dude, when it first came out, we would just find ourselves, dude, it was at Nick Welch's place, man.
Yeah,
We'd
on
find
his
ourselves
couch,
there
man.
on, what was it, Tuesday nights when it was on?
Whenever it
And,
was, yeah.
dude, we'd sit there and, have some Oktoberfest, and that was like how we originally met.
Oh man, that's a much more glorious early memory of Tony than I have.
Well, I've got some other ones, but
I mean,
I was waiting for this story,
Is it-
Fred.
should we
and
do it
apparently
now?
it comes out tonight.
It comes out tonight. I mean, I remember
Tonight's the night you fight your dad.
my lord, these pants are gonna shit themselves. yeah, I remember very vividly the very first time I ever met Tony. I think it was.
Was it your house?
It was on I think it was on a Saturday. It might have been a weekday morning. I think it was a Saturday morning.
Saturday morning at your
It was
house.
like 7:00. I was there for some
Old
other-
house.
Yeah, the old house. Yeah.
Once again, you guys were working and I wasn't.
Yeah.
The good old days.
Right.
There was something I don't remember if we were going to go do something or some kind of work thing or whatever, but I remember getting there for whatever reason. And Tony pulled in.
What was I wearing, Fred?
Yeah, no, you had cowboy boots. And I don't remember the shirt, but you had cowboy boots and jeans and this giant cowboy hat on.
10 gallon?
Yeah, it was probably
15 gallon?
It was I don't know.
Goddamn 20 gallon.
Yeah.
True straight.
I don't know how big the gallons are compared to the hats. I'm not sure
Right.
how that works. But I remember standing in the driveway and this dude pulls in the driveway and he gets out and I'm like, well, who the fuck is this guy? I looked at the license plates, not from Texas, surprisingly. And you guys start talking for like 30 seconds. And then he just right mid-sentence, he just walks around, he didn't even really walk all the way around his truck, but it was probably 4 steps just around the corner, for some kind of courtesy, I guess. And just starts vomiting all over the place. And I'm like,
yeah.
all right, once again, who the fuck is this guy?
And then
Yeah.
just goes right
And
back
yeah,
into
and then
conversation.
All right, brother, what's going on?
Rough night.
I'm like, Jesus.
That's a rare one for me too, because I usually don't throw up. You, on the other hand, seen some fantastic vomiting. Fantastic.
I'll puke with the best of them.
With the puke and rally times 10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every time.
Yeah.
Jesus.
I just sit back. I think about it all the time, all the places I've puked over this country.
Federal building.
Federal building. Hey, watch this, guys.
Oh,
Good stuff.
man.
That's a talent.
How did we end up hanging out? Like, when was the first time that you know what I mean, I remember kind of like challenging you to play guitar. Like,
Yeah,
pretty much just bugging the shit out of you till you were like, oh my God, I'll play guitar.
You did. I don't remember, honestly. I just
remember either.
you bugging the shit out of me to play guitar. And I did. Apparently I'm a sucker for peer pressure.
That'll get you.
It will, sons of bitches. Yeah, I don't know. I don't remember how it all slowly came to fruition, but it did, and
And here we are.
here we are. Well, I mean, I know it's getting a little later, so I mean, I think this may be the longest one we've done so far.
Really?
No, we did 4 hours.
Oh, that's true. Well, that was
Divided into 3 pieces, so.
yeah, that was a different. It wasn't very focused.
I think there's a lot more alcohol involved in that one, too.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, there probably was.
Any finishing thoughts, man, or anything you want to leave the audience with or touch on before we part ways?
Not really, man. Dude, if people sit down and they take the time to listen to this, man, dude, hopefully it inspires people enough to where, dude, they take a look at themselves and, dude, they ask, like, whatever they're doing in life. Like, dude, I don't care what it is, man. Like, dude, if you want to be a ballerina, like, I don't care what you're doing. Dude,
I'd look fucking good in a tutu.
you would? You think?
I think so.
I think you should let other people tell you that.
Please
but no,
don't.
man.
Sorry.
Whatever you're doing in life, man, dude, do it full steam ahead with 100% intent, and dude, do it the best that you possibly can. And if you fail, man. Get your ass back up, dude. Dust your pants off, and dude, keep pushing forward.
That sounds like the Roosevelt quote combined with a little bit of Henry Ford.
You don't learn anything from success and succeeding.
Those failures, man.
Yeah,
Those
absolutely. I appreciate you having me on, Fred.
Hey, I appreciate you coming on. You know, honestly, and I don't even, opening up and asking about the history and how the whole Rogue thing is went and how it happened and how it worked and how it's working. That's just honest curiosity because
Right.
Chronic curiosity.
It is, but there's honestly, I think one of the most impactful things with Rogue for me has been seeing everybody think that I have ties to it
Right.
and think that I know what the fuck's going on. Like, I don't fucking. I mean, they're out there doing their thing. Like the sound looks like they're doing good. It does look like that. Yeah, they're doing fucking great. So I mean, I from what I've seen, it looks like you guys have been doing a fucking phenomenal job, and everyone that has had work done by Rogue, and I just hear reviews and raving reviews isn't even a good word for it,
Right.
So I mean, that's something to be said, particularly nowadays, where it's just, it goes back to, I think it goes back to the structure you guys have built there, the honesty and.
Yeah. Dude, maybe definitely a time for another conversation, but I get asked this often is, dude, partnerships are a very, very unique relationship, man. Dude, there's a ton of them out there that fail. But dude, it is a very delicate thing, man. And it literally comes, like, the only way you can succeed in a partnership is communication. And dude, not harvesting anything. Like, dude, if you've got something to say, throw it on the table.
Yeah, man.
Dude, what we're doing right here.
Yep.
Literally, I mean, dude, if I got paid for every second that Tony and I has spent talking over the last 5 years, dude, I could go pretty much do whatever the hell I wanted to do right now.
Bezos, we'd be coming for you.
Right. Bimini.
Bimini. Dude, it's funny you said that, man. I was kind of laughing. I was kind of smiling internally here, just thinking about kind of people on the outside.
Right.
And you know, I'm sure you get this all the time, and I get this from time to time, and they're like, dude, how can you be a business partner with Corey? You know, that dude's so abrasive. Like, that dude's just like, you know, he's wide open, man. He's like tough to be around. He just speaks his mind. And I'm sure you get it on the flip side. Like, how can you be business partner with Tony? Like, that dude's not as motivated. That dude's a hippie. Like, he doesn't want to work as much as you want to work. Like, and dude, it just makes me smile, man, to know that, like, dude, in some like cosmos of some sort, like, dude, we figured it out, man.
Right.
We figured it out. And like, I don't know that any words will be able to explain to someone that. You know, I think what you said, man, definitely like having that open line of communication, and kind of like, honestly, to bring everything back into this conversation that we were talking about, giving people a forum to speak, to listening, to, you know, not judging and asking questions, everything that encapsulates, that's how we succeed as business partners. You know, I don't know how many times people have said, dude, you have a business partner? Ooh, those don't work out. And I guarantee millions of people have said to you, not millions, but a lot of people have said to you, like, Paul, dude, you have a business partner? Those don't work out. Right. The reason they don't work out is because they haven't worked out for you, or because you haven't tried them and figured out how to work them out yourself and succeeded.
Yeah, that, and dude, I think it honestly too goes down to our level of friendship, man. I think the guys that out there, guys and girls, people that think like, oh, you know, I've got all these friends, I've got all these hundreds of friends. Dude, I don't have a lot of friends, man. I don't like a lot of people in general. Dude, I can literally count on one hand, like, my ride or dies, and dude, Tony's pretty much top of the list, man. Like, I don't care day or night what the situation is. Like, dude, if I call him, I know he's going to be there, and I know he thinks that, like, dude, he calls me, I don't give a shit what it is. Like, dude, I'm there. So, like, dude, there's that level of respect that comes in there. And dude, I mean, there's times on job sites, man, we would get at it bad, and the guys would all just stop, and they'd be like,
God, mom and dad
are fighting again. And dude, we would literally be just tit for tat, and dude, just
each other.
And there's times Tony would look at me and be like, I don't give a fuck. Like, dude, we would just, but dude, it happens, man. But like, put it out there, put it on the table, and then get back up and keep pushing forward, man. There's a couple newer guys in the area that's trying to do partnerships, and dude, I see the relationship that they have with their partner, and I just sit and it's not going to work, because they don't have the ability to speak out. You know, we have like a yin and a yang thing, man. We've never yet reached. Because when I'm low, he's high. When I'm high, Tony's low.
The analogous duality, if you will. Like,
right.
We're right at this set. Like, that's, well, that's a mushroom cloud land.
Right.
But maybe yeah, but maybe, so just tell me what you think about this. Maybe that's, and as you guys are talking, I see that, you know, I think you look at it, even if you really boil it all the way down to just two humans.
Right.
And being able to communicate, being able to be honest, being able to be abrasive, but talk about the low and the high and the yin and the yang. Maybe that's the key, is you guys could both be high. You guys could both be low, and it wouldn't work out. Maybe there's something to, maybe it's not as lucky as you think it is.
Right.
Maybe you're both, I mean, this is just the way I see it, is maybe you both are allowing yourselves to, okay, he's high right now.
Right.
I need to be low.
Right. No, absolutely.
He's low right now. I'm high right now. And then that other person goes, all right, I know that I'm going to give him the room he needs. I'm going to still give it to him.
Right.
But come tomorrow, we're going to work this out.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
I'd agree with that, man. There are definitely times where we got to reel each other back in, or,
yeah,
you know, kind of be the voice of reason, or pump the brakes, or, yeah, no, I
do that. And there's times that you go, I'm going to talk to you tomorrow.
Oh,
and you literally just hang the fucking phone up,
yeah.
And dude, you sit there, and I know he's going, that motherfucker, and I'm going, God damn it. But dude, you wake up the next day and you go, all right, like, dude, let's get back at what we're here to do.
Dude, how do you, man, I just keep thinking about relationships between, like, your significant other. What if you could do? What if more relationships did that too, or even outside of that, like coming back to the state of the union right now, and what if people did that? Like, oh, I don't agree with you. I want to kill you right now, but you know what? I'm not going to kill you. I'm going to pump the brakes. I'm going to take a break. I'm going to go have a little bourbon or something. I'm going to go exercise. I'm going to do whatever, and then I'm going to come back to it, and we'll revisit this.
And I think that's the key. And
Right.
it's even boiling it down more than that. It's not relationships. It's not the state of the union. It's not business partners. The more and more you guys talking about this, the more and more I what I see there is you guys are
Just people.
we're just two humans.
Right.
Right? Just two people. Regardless of if you're in a business relationship, whether you're partners, business
Partners.
or partner, or you're in a marriage,
business.
or you're two completely, strangers on the street. Obviously, not everyone is going to be able to give the other person that capability of being high or low and
Right.
meeting them where they need to be and being able to go back and say, hey, the next day. I think that's where it comes into. If it's somebody it's if you have that falling out, is being able to go back the next day, like you guys have talked about,
Right.
and saying, hey, all right, we've had time. We need to work this out.
Yeah, and I think any good person in management has done that and is sitting there, if they're listening, they're going, oh, yeah, I've been there before. Like, dude, there's times that you literally just go, emotion is starting to come into facts and in the situation. I need to remove myself from it because I don't have the ability to think logically once emotion's involved.
Nothing
Right.
good's going to come.
Right,
from
this isn't going to be good. Like, we're going to fight each other, and then we're going to both be fucked up, and and then we're going to have to redo this whole thing tomorrow, anyways.
Right.
So, no, you're absolutely right, man. Like, and it kind of stems back to what we talked about earlier. Is I think there's a level of selfishness that comes into play there, where someone has their own agenda, and they don't care about the other person's thoughts, feelings, etc.
And that's where I think the fuzzy area comes in, is because
Right.
you want to be like, you're a dumb motherfucker. You don't get it anyways because you don't care. Like, blah,
Right.
but
Yeah, but dude, here's the super cool thing about that, man. Like, you and me might have both of our agendas individually, but like at the end of the day, I know that the overall goal, dude, the agenda is always back to the company.
Right.
It's always back to the guys. It's always back to, I hate to say this, but the greater good, if you will.
Right.
So, and
No, it's true though.
Yeah, it is. It's 100% true, and I think that's like that's a very big reason as to why we've been able to succeed and continue to grow and to make people question, how did you grow that fast? How do you retain guys like that? How do you hire guys like that? So
Yeah, absolutely.
the true greater good. That is a complex thing. God damn it.
It's a good talk, fellas.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
I appreciate you guys, man. I do. Not trying to get all sentimental here, but I really do appreciate you, gentlemen.
Appreciate it.
Salute.
Frodo,
I don't
Fred's
have any
empty.
left.
Well,
Fred's
pour
empty.
some back in there.
All right, here,
some
we'll
back in
do
there.
a
Quick-
ceremonious.
Post ceremoniously.
Yeah. Let's party.
Yep.
Salute, gentlemen.
Fuck yeah.